This week, we're discussing May's quarter-life crisis, Ravi's adorable jealousy, and Athena's continued matriarchal role in the 118.
Buck going through his 99th trial and tribulation that unfortunately brings him closer to Bobby.
And Eddie's role as the concerned husband in all of this.
Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is the Buddie System, a 911 yapathon hosted by 3 friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
no stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
This is our 10th special episode covering Season 9, and today we're talking about
Season 9, Episode 14, D.I.Y, written by Lindsay Bulio and Silas Sabard, directed by Sherry Appleby, and the director of photography, Andrew Mitchell.
We're also talking about Season 9, Episode 15, titled Pick Your Poison. It's written by Molly Green and James Leffler. It's directed by Christine Calafian, and the director of photography is PJ Russ.
Russ Dog.
Bark, bark.
All right, so let's get into our review of Season 9, Episode 14 first. What worked well?
So for me, what worked well was the reoccurring calls with Tia and Flynn. I love when the episode starts with like these 2 characters, you know, and like we get to explore basically like a whole like little story arc for them.
Yeah.
And then how like the 118, they're always like,
they're just there.
How the 118 is basically just always there to see what mishap has happened to them. I mean, and I also love, we talked about this in the live, that we might be doing like let's compare some of these like couples to Buck and Eddie. And they felt very Buck and Eddie to me, especially like Buck and Eddie from like 809, along with like some other like very obvious things that Buck and Eddie have gone through in the past seasons. So I don't know. It's just very interesting writing for some of the couples this season.
Yeah. I also love how just like it's so classically 911 to like get us so invested in these like little vignettes like of the victims or the patients in each of the calls. And I think, I mean, we've talked about this before. 911 does it like really, really well, but they get us so invested so quickly. And I like that we were able to see like even more of them like multiple times. So like their story kind of grew as well. Peak 911. I also really loved how the lighting and the shadows worked for the cinematography in Buck's house when he's struggling so much. I think this happened twice. The first time when he was like peeking out of the window when Eddie and Chris were trying to bring over some pizza, and just like the little sliver of light on Buck. And especially when after later in the episode, Eddie and Christopher leave and we just get this like really solemn shot, like kind of across the hallway to Buck. So he's like very small and it's just like very little light. Everything else is dark and like surrounding him and closing in on him. There we go.
Another part that worked well was Athena, Hen, May, and Gabby all getting together and swapping stories and wisdom, and May kind of getting like some advice from these very established women, especially like where they are in their careers and trying to figure out what she wants to do with hers.
Yeah, I thought that was a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
That was like, I think something that a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it was just like very powerful, especially to have like all Black women together and like here are these 3 like very successful characters and someone who's, you know, still trying to find her way. I think that ends up being like very impactful the way it was done.
Yeah. I think it was just a good storyline for May in general, especially for the younger skewing age of the audience for 911, because it's going to be very relatable for them because it's just like, what do you want to do with your life? And normally the answer is like, for most people, not just one thing, because it's not really kind of the day and age we live in anymore that like you go to school and you get a job and you do this one thing and you do it forever until you die. Kind of like a boomer thing. It is.
It is. I know. That's the thing. It is. When you put it like that, it's just
It's just not like
it sounds so boring.
Well, but it is. It's what it used to be. That was the American dream, you know? But yeah, so I just think that that was a really good storyline to do for her. And I'm happy that we finally got a May storyline that wasn't just her being like supporting character. So we've been waiting for that, hoping it would come up soon. I really loved like Eddie's whole supporting role in this episode of just like trying to be there for Buck and like trying to just like poke and prod and make sure that he is like getting the help that he needs, because he knows that he's not okay and that he needs help. So he's trying to do that in any way that he can. I love that he just like shows up at his house to try and like jump scare him. And I love like in retrospect that like Buck doesn't answer the door, because I think it was very much like he wasn't using when he was at work or when he was around Chris, because like at the end of 14 we see him like after he finally does have them over for dinner, after they leave, he immediately goes and takes some pills. So I think it was very much like he wasn't going to answer the door because he was high, but also because Chris was there. So like it was very much like keeping separation between like those things. And I think it was like a really beautiful way to like tell that story a little more in retrospect, but like really kind of just like show that, you know, Buck knew something was wrong, even if he didn't like wasn't fully accepting it. He knew that something was wrong, but he was still trying to do the right thing.
The right thing.
Yeah.
That's such a core pillar of
who Buck
his
is.
character.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We watched this episode and then we went to a convention, you know, it's a bit of a blur.
It's also like, I think it's more of a setup episode. It's, you know, when, you know, it typically happens with setup episodes. You kind of just like all of the meat. I mean, not to say that there isn't any substance. This is the word that Rachel's making me use. Substance in this episode.
I was trying to be thesaurus.
You know, most of the substance is in 15. But yes, because of it being a setup episode, you know.
Yeah.
You get it.
I really did like the whole kind of like almost mob instance when May went with Gabby to the hospital. I thought that was like very different. It for a minute I was like, wait, is this the same show? But like
it's Grey's Anatomy.
I was like, did we accidentally like slide into the 10 o'clock slot? But I thought it was interesting, and I like
right
or the pit. But I thought it was really interesting, and I liked how we kind of saw like a different aspect in kind of like May's POV, right? Of how the system, the justice system, but also like the first responder hospital system worked. And I thought that was like a really cool insight into her mind. And I appreciated that.
It also feels like it could be like, let's say May does become a nurse and, you know, we need to see her POV in the actual like emergency room. Like, I feel like that's like a taste of what it could be in the future. If that's the road that the path that they're going down for her.
May MD.
Oh my. I don't know that we have anything as per usual for the most part that we think that they could have done differently or better.
It's so good.
I will say, just to lead us into 9:15, I was very concerned about this episode with the way that 9:14 ended, because I was like, I do not want a full-blown Buck is an addict now storyline, because that will change his character forever and like change his DNA. And I had a lot of reservations that if you're close to me in fandom, you heard a lot about for an entire week. And I was like, they could do it well, but I just like, I don't want it. Like, I was like, I don't want the full, like gets the Bobby treatment now.
Like,
and
very
like
hesitant about it.
Well, because I was like, it will change who he is as a person, and not to say that like, you know, that's not something that they could do and like have it be done well and like be good representation. I was just like, I don't know that I want them to change Buck's character that much. So they, as per usual, assuaged all of my fears and kind of made this like a storyline where they kind of like, I don't want to say like just addressed it really quickly, but like that is kind of what they did. So I was very nervous about it, and I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, I think to that extent about the fear of, you know, having something like this change a character irrevocably. You know, we said that for the grief stuff too.
We did.
And they've been really addressing those and that kind of stuff in the right way this season. So I kind of hoped and figured that however they would deal with it would have some nuance, but I really do appreciate that this is the road they decided to go down with this, where it was just like, okay, we're going to address this, but it's also like not going to become like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
than like necessarily, you know? I mean, it could still pop up at some point, but I feel like they kind of like squashed it.
Yeah, I don't know. When the episode ended, I just said, oh, that's interesting. I wasn't like worried. I was just kind of like, I don't know. Because like you guys have heard me say what I initially thought, which was, I mean, I didn't really put too much thought into it until the day of, but I think my general vibe was they're not going to go this far with him because of what kind of character he is for the show and for the audience and for the general audience. To me, it just didn't feel like that was the road that they were going to go for him.
Which makes a lot of sense.
And then I put more thought into it and I was like, oh yeah, no, he's just going to experience withdrawal throughout the entire episode. And it's going to be like the family supporting him, if anything, to get through it. So I was just like, he's going to be fine. Yeah. That was basically my whole thought process on it. But I will say this. I do think stories like this should be told. And I think they handled it with nuance. I was actually more annoyed with how, not annoyed, but like more like, wow, this is the response that we're getting for a storyline like this. Like, I think stories like this should be told. It shouldn't be like, oh no, this character that I really like, he would never do this, or, you know, things like that. Like, I think, you know, it just felt like, I'm just going to say, like, it just felt like, how do I say this? Like we should shy away from these storylines. And I didn't like that kind of response. It's because of who he is, you know, the prominent golden boy character. People think we should shy away from that from him, you know, for as a storyline for him. So that's why I was just like, wow, that's actually, I don't know. I didn't like that response to it.
Like people wanted to be like, take this storyline, give it to a different character instead.
Yeah, kind of. And I thought in putting more thought into it, I thought actually he's the perfect character.
Well, yeah, because
of his connection to Bobby.
Well, it's not just that, it's his actual personality type. It's that he had a self-diagnosed sex addiction. It's that he is neurodiverse. That's not really like said out loud, but that is the characterization of the character. And Oliver Stark agrees with that and plays it that way too, that he has ADHD. And people who are neurodiverse or have ADHD are way more susceptible to addiction. So like, it's not that it didn't make sense for him. It's just that me as someone who loves Buck was like, I don't want this for him. Like it just made me like, I don't want this to be him, you know, dealing with this forever for the rest of the show, like Bobby was. And I think it also, like, I realized, because like I was like, you guys have to talk me down because I want to be in the reaction like positive and not like preparing myself to hate it. And then I realized that I also like had some like weirdness about it for like my own personal reasons of like staring down like a potential like a substance abuse issue and like realizing that. So didn't quite have the same experience as Buck, but this ended up like landing really well for me. It's just that like, I understand that people have complicated feelings about it, but I think to be like, we shouldn't, because he's the main character, he's the golden sunshine boy, like not ever have him like go through stuff that's uncomfortable. That doesn't make sense. It's a television show. Like
it's
the whole purpose of the fictional characters to put them through things. Yeah. So yeah, I just was like, I was worried about how they were going to handle it. And I think they handled it really well. And I'm happy that this is the direction that they chose to go with it. I know not everyone is going to share that opinion, but it seems like it landed pretty well.
It seemed like it landed. No, the only thing that's not landing is how the characters reacted to his deaf look.
Like, because they weren't noticing right away?
Oh, well, yes, he did, you know, because he was going through the withdrawals, like, looked like he was, you know, about to be very ill, and, like, no one noticed until Eddie noticed. So, but I think the way that they ended up cutting it together, you didn't really see anyone looking directly at him. So I think it was just kind of like, I think it was just like everyone was kind of just very focused on work, and it was a really busy day as we saw them, like,
they were very like focused on the task at hand and not kind of like their surroundings to realize what was going on.
And I also feel like, you know, these things like sneak up on you. Like it's not always in plain sight. So it's fair that they didn't notice. And especially Eddie, who did notice on, you know, early on, like he was convinced. And I mean, we'll talk about that later because there is a parallel with that. But like with Hen and Eva. But like, I think it's true to, I guess, real life. Sometimes you don't notice until they're either asking for help or they've gone a completely different direction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I also thought the grief was handled, I mean, generally this whole season.
Yeah.
But specifically in this episode was handled very similarly, where it just kind of like it trickles in and then all of a sudden it's this like rushing wave coming over you. Because that was like realistic. That is how it happens.
Yeah.
And like the way that all of these things were happening for Buck was kind of like an unconscious manifestation of that grief, which we have kind of seen in a different but kind of similar way with Hen and her illness and her hiding it as well. And it's just like, just because of the timing of everything for Buck, where it's like, it may not have been sitting up in like his conscious brain, but it was felt like deeply emotionally and subconsciously. And that is how this kind of grief works.
Yeah.
I've experienced it like that. So that hit very true.
Yeah. I really think we have to talk about Oliver Stark's acting because
oh yeah,
my guy, that was incredible. I felt sick watching you. So
yeah. Good job.
Kudos.
You made it so visceral.
You made it very visceral. Like every single like emotion, like kind of like stray thought, and just you could see it just like written on his face. Not just like how bad the withdrawals were, but just like how conflicted he was the entire time. Really played out.
Struggling mentally and physically.
Yeah. Like struggling to like be himself and overcome the like dependence on the substance. Like it was so good. And then obviously like that scene with Chimney.
Oh my God, that broke me.
Where he was like, this isn't me. Broke my fucking heart. And then the whole montage is just incredible. Conversation with Eddie, the conversation with Athena. Like it was just beautiful. It's, you know, he's always great. We've given him a lot of flowers. I think we just recently gave him a lot of flowers for 9/13 too.
Deserved.
But this was like another level, I think, that we haven't previously seen from his character before, because it's like new depths of the horrors, if you will. It was just really, really beautifully done. Yeah. So here's your buddy system EGOT.
Yes. Our buddy system EGOT.
I gave you a pin already. So I feel like the buddy system EGOT aligns with that one. So
oh my God.
Yes, it can be engraved on the bottom.
Jesus.
We could very much tell that Oliver was like really taking care of his performance in this episode and taking care to portray it with heart and with authenticity. It seemed like from the convention panel, like it was something that was like pretty important to him.
Yeah.
And I think it came through.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
Absolutely, it did. And shout out to Molly and James, because you did it again. Because like 911 is famous for this, like the tonal shifts, right? But like I feel like there's something very special about their episodes where it's just like the most wild tonal shifts you've ever seen in your life. But like it works.
But they work,
you know. So it's like, oh my God, a little rom-com like love triangle. Oh my God, puppy dog Ravi looks like he's about to cry, and then it's Buck literally like fighting for his life,
going through the horrors.
And then it's also like Athena detectiving on the job and like, you know, possible like Russian
KGB
by like three very different things happening, but somehow all work together in the same episode.
It weaves together really well.
I don't know how you guys do it, but you do it well, and we love it.
Yeah. It keeps us on our toes the whole time. Like there's no moment to like rest in these kind of episodes, which is a good thing.
I think what I appreciate about it so much is that like we have really good pattern recognition, right? So normally we can like spot like, oh, this is where this is going. But especially with their episodes, I think I'm so distracted by stuff happening that I'm not thinking about, I wonder where that plot's going. You know what I mean? I'm just so focused on the next thing that's happening that I'm not thinking, I wonder who actually murdered this man. I wasn't thinking about it at all. I was like, they'll tell me. I was like, they'll tell me.
I was suspicious.
And then I was like, oh, it's the son. Because like I was like, well, they wouldn't have the son say that if he was actually the killer, right? That was my only thought about that. And then I didn't think about it again. I was like, it's going to be some random thing. And then I was like, for a second, I was like, maybe it's some sort of red herring because she's sending this guy to look at this. And she wouldn't send him to what she actually thought it was. But I wasn't really pontificating about it because I was so focused on Buck and the main Ravi situation. Like, I wasn't thinking about it. So like something that I normally would have been able to be like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Because it's like a famous annoying thing, I think, for probably us and people who watch shit with us, is that we can start figuring out what's happening and we'll say it. And it's like, oh, then this is what's going to happen. And that's what
I do that with my dad all the time. And he's like, how do you know that? And I'm just like, I watch a lot of TV.
We were watching an episode of, oh my God, My Adventures with Superman, the like anime series they did. And they started a sentence. I completed the sentence like of dialogue. I was like, and like a heartwarming, like, I was like, yeah, I'm really annoying to watch things with because of the pattern recognition. But they do such a good job that like most of the time, I'm just like, oh, wow, that makes sense, obviously. Or like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm really stupid. I should have noticed that. But like I was so busy paying attention to all the other like flashing neon signs in front of my face. So I think they just do such a great job.
You got to play like mental catch up because you're still on like the last scene.
Exactly.
And then you're like halfway through this next scene. It's like, wait.
Well, how am I supposed to focus on like who the potential like Russian hitman of this man was when Ravi looks like he wants to die because May is potentially dating someone else.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, wow, you fucked up, bud. You fucked up real bad. And he's just like, I hate my life.
Yeah. No, same. Because I was more concerned about Buck, and then I was more concerned about like the way the storyline was going to go down, and I was just like, I'll focus on that later on the rewatch. I really like that. I mean, I probably already kind of said this, but like I really like that we didn't drag the addiction plot with Buck. I do, again, like I did like that we focused on the withdrawals mostly. I love that he caught it early and he asked for help, that he wasn't using on the job or around Christopher. Like, yes, he was dependent on them, but he was aware in a sense before and after the doctor slapped him in the face with it. He was aware of what he was doing. And I think we can all say like we love that it didn't change his character for the worst or change his DNA, as Han says.
It was just well done. And I think Han mentioned it briefly for a moment, but that rescue montage or that montage with the rescue song was so beautifully done. I loved that cinematography with like the long exposure with everything, with everyone just kind of like orbiting around Buck. Because I've thought like Buck is kind of the gravity. Well, I mean, Athena is too. She's like the matriarch of the 118, but like sometimes Buck is the main character, right? So like things orbit around him. And I thought that was kind of like a beautiful like visual of that.
Yeah, he's the heart. We've discussed this before. He's the heart and Bobby was the head. That's what we used to say.
Yeah.
Or Bobby was
dead. So I thought that was what?
I said before Bobby was dead. So now I guess it's Athena's the head and Buck's still the heart.
Yes. So I thought that like everyone moving around him while he was like still was like a beautiful visual of that.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing that 911's going to get me to cry with, it's a montage with a really good needle drop. They just do it really well. And I don't know if it's because music has like a much higher chance of making me cry than like any other form of media, or if it's just like my editor brain is like, this is just a good edit.
Yeah.
It was a good edit.
It's a great edit. But yeah, it was just like superb. And I woke up the next morning and immediately put on just that scene so that I could cry properly off screen. So I had to cry pretty on camera. I was like, I needed to do the whole like, you know, like chin wobbling,
like heaving sobs.
Yes.
Like,
still upset about this.
Oh,
I'm still upset about it. I hate when that happens to me. When I can't cry it's not that I can't cry on camera. I just, when I can't cry, when I know
in the moment
you're perceived.
It's not even being perceived. I cried with Dia de los Muertos. It's just like when you're expecting something to happen. Yeah. I think that happened to me with.
It was another episode this season.
The last alarm. I feel like was it the last alarm, and I am probably 15 because I think you guys were bawling when work song came on, and I was like, I think maybe at the last second maybe it got me, but like I was just like, it got you guys guys with work song. It didn't get me with work song. It didn't get me at all until like the literal maybe end, because I was like, well, okay, so this shit happened because we already knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I'm too hyper focused on storylines, I can't cry. If I'm expecting something, I can't cry. So yeah, I watched it last night and had a good cry. Yeah, it's great.
I watched it today and had a good cry. I was like, I had to keep pausing and just kind of like look off into the distance and be like,
yeah, no, I said during the live stream or one of them that like this will be my new, if I want to just cry, like have a good cry, this will be my new thing that I put on, because I think it'll get me every time. Like the combination of like the actual content of what's happening, like the narrative that they're telling with just the visuals, no dialogue, the song choice, like the cinematography that they did with it. It's a banger. It's one of their best. It's one of their best scenes. It's probably their best montage.
Camera work was great. The shot was good.
Maybe we should rank the montages one day.
Ooh, we should rank montages. There's so many of them. Oh, smart. Minisode. This was just like an all-timer montage because it just is so quintessential to what this show is, who these characters are. And yeah, so like if you wanted to show someone like, here, let me show you like a brief thing to give you a rundown of like how this found family operates. Show this montage.
Yeah. And I think it's just such a beautiful, like, hate that this is the way that we got them all together outside of work for the first time, I guess. But like, it was just
there was
like,
there was
as well.
All of them at one time together at Hens.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
we did not have them all together at one time.
Most of the 118 were together.
Well, but that was a montage of them over at separate times. I'm talking about like they were all there in the living room, at the dinner table, at the campfire, like little backyard fire. Like, yeah, this is the first time we've seen them all together outside work, like in the same place at the same time, multiple times. So like, sad that that's the reason, but it was really nice to see them like as a family, and to wrap it all up with like telling stories and laughing about Bobby and remembering him. It was just beautiful. It was just a really gorgeous like ending to that episode and that little arc for Buck, which I'm sure it's not done because there's repercussions, of it as well. But
he's through the worst of
it. The actual physical horrors of it, I think, are over.
We'll see if how it takes on externally.
Yes. Yeah.
Out of his hands now. So should I even ask what could have worked better?
No. Moving on.
All right. How these two episodes worked together was really lovely. It was kind of like a two-parter emotionally, like kind of spiritually, if not, in big emergency terms, because there was so much. I know in our current season coverage, we don't really talk a lot about like the episode themes or the season themes. That's for our rewatches down the line. But like thematically, these two episodes emphasizing like as a unit, like put them together, like how important it is to reach out and ask for help and lean on each other, and not only one person needs to shoulder the weight alone. I thought this was like they work together in that way so well. So it was like very tight thematically.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is like kind of a microcosm of the entire season.
Yeah.
But in a really like distilled way.
I don't know if we gave a rating to the first one.
Concentrated.
We give ratings?
Well, normally we say like 10 out of 10.
Oh,
we didn't do that.
I'm sorry. So for episode 14 out of 10, out of what? 14 out of 10 stars. And for episode 15 out of 10 stars. Hey.
I wonder what this average is going to end up being.
I don't know. It's going to be crazy. I mean, I'll make a real one that's like everything's 10 except for...
I think it was 9.
9.
So 9, yeah.
Which was only like 8 or 9 out of 10.
It was an 8. It was a generous 8. It should have been a 7 for me, personally.
I'll give it a 7.5.
There we go. 7.5. That dialogue was bad. Sorry. The dialogue was bad. Okay. So I think that it will bring us to our character highlights. And we'll start with Athena. Mine for her was the talk that she had with Buck at the end of 9:15 when he comes out and he's like trying to apologize for her like having to be there on Bobby's like the anniversary of Bobby dying. And she like kind of tuts at him and is like, we take care of each other always. Like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I was like, that's mother.
That's mom.
But I really liked the kind of like how it continues. And he's like, I think I kind of understand Bobby in a way that I didn't before. And she's like, he loved you so much, but I think he would have wanted this to stay a mystery. Like wouldn't have wanted you to ever experience this. So I don't know. I just thought it was a really lovely talk between the two of them.
It was poignant.
Yeah. And I really like, I don't think we've had a lot of Buck and Athena moments this season, but I think the ones we've had have been more funny. You know what I mean? So this was nice.
My highlight for Athena was bringing in Gabby and Hen and hosting basically like a girls' night with her big old charcuterie boards. And
that was huge.
She loves a charcuterie.
She really does. But I love that she brought in these prominent women and to, basically help May realize that one, her origin story is just getting started and, and being supportive for her daughter by bringing these prominent women with different career paths and being able to share how they got to where they are today. So I thought that was really beautiful.
It was just a fun scene. It looked like they had so much fun in that scene.
Oh, I love learning Athena lore with, her besties, that's fun too. Yes. That's always fun.
And I really loved anytime we get to see Detective Athena or Athena on the detective case. I think that's kind of where a lot of her strengths professionally lie. And it kind of makes me a little like, and maybe a little hopeful that, we know she doesn't want a promotion. We know she loves her job and we know she loves the freedom to like go wherever she feels needed or wants to be on the job. But that kind of made me think like maybe next year we'll see a little something going down like further that detective-y route, because the detective said like next time you should have like a detective shield with you. So that would be neat. But I think Athena is at her best professionally when she is investigating something. She's got generally good instincts. There's been a couple, exceptions, but generally speaking, wow. She gets the job done when she investigates too. So I really enjoy that.
Same. I just don't think it's realistic logistically to have her narratively involved with the 911 calls. Because it'd have to be murder or things that you actually need a detective for. And I don't think they will. Unless she's going to be able to like do double duty, which I don't even know if you're allowed to do. But I'm open to it. I just don't think it's something that they would do.
I'm not sure how likely it is, but
surprise us if you can do it.
Yeah, we love being surprised.
Yeah, we sure do. But yeah, I'm not sure how likely it is. I just enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay. So highlights for May. Mine is just that this girl is messy. Like it's so funny because like the whole season she's been like a wise older sister and like almost graduating college and she's so like mature now.
Got it together.
And then you see her just like make an absolute bungle of this scene that she had no business like inserting herself into. Like it's very much like act first, think later, which was not great in this situation, but I think it'll help lead her into the direction of like whatever her calling actually ends up being, whether that's nursing, whether that's something else. I think that's definitely more in the first responder kind of thinking. The like act now, like just do the thing instead of being like, I'm a lawyer. Let me think about all of the repercussions of the law. She was like, shouldn't we be doing more than the law? I was like, no, that's what lawyers do.
Law.
They do the law. Their job is law.
Like their job is law.
Barbie's jaw is law. Jaw is law. This Barbie's job is law. Like that's it. She's like, shouldn't it be more than rules and statutes? No, that's all being a lawyer is, bro. Like you use them to like
do stuff.
Yeah, to do stuff, but like that's all it is.
I know. Yeah, you're right. It was like she was really channeling dispatch May.
Yeah.
Where you have to just like immediately. That's what her training's been in.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what she was saying at the beginning with Athena when they were doing like her mock interview sort of thing. She's like, I
just want to focus on like the
I work well like under pressure.
Well, but she was saying like, I don't want to answer any of the, you should just focus on things that make me look good. But it's like, girly pop, they always ask you negative questions. Like, tell me about a time that you failed. Tell me what you learned from it. Tell me like your worst, it's like, tell me your worst quality or something like that. There's always a negative question. So she's just very, this episode was showing us, oh no, she's just 22. She's just a baby. She doesn't know what she's doing.
A baby.
She's a baby.
And connected to that, I really enjoyed that she wanted to get the internship on her own. Like she didn't want her mom to call up her friend and be like, hey, you should hire my daughter. She really wanted to showcase her own strengths, obviously not her weaknesses, which she probably should have, you know. She was practicing a little too hard. She was trying a little too hard. She was trying a little too hard, but it goes to show like it's nice to see that she didn't want to like have her connections. She didn't want to be a Nepo baby like her brother.
But also, like, if you've got some connections, like,
use them.
You can use them. Like,
it's not a bad thing.
No.
And then that's later in the episode, reason. She's like, Mommy, can you please call her?
Yeah, she literally was like,
and she did. She did kind of like,
yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, if that was the only reason she got it was on that merit, then that's bad.
And it's like it's also it shows how naive and young she is too. That she wasn't like, yes, let me utilize every connection I have to get a job, because you kind of need that, especially right now. The job market is ass.
Yeah.
So, girl, use your connections.
But use them wisely. And I just really liked that we got to see that she is kind of in this place, or that May is kind of in this place where like she doesn't exactly know what path is laid out for her, but also that she feels like she's wasting it. She's like 22 or 23, girl, you're good. Like, but I feel like we so many people, and myself included, we're just kind of like, am I wasting my time? But like, you're so young that it's like you have plenty of time and you don't have to have all of the answers right now. But like in that scene where she was kind of admitting all of this, she was at the same time recognizing that she has like these fantastic role models around her to reassure her and kind of like show her it doesn't have to be figured out right now. Like, you've got time. And I feel like that's something that so many people need to hear, is like, you have time. Your story is still in progress.
Yeah.
The rest is still unwritten, if you will.
Well, there's no actual real timeline for when things should happen.
Okay. Harry Styles.
Oh God. Okay, so I guess my favorite moment of Harry is just like continually ragging on Ravi for not calling May back, even though it was your fault, bro. Was still objectively funny that you kept making fun
little
of
brother.
Him. It really is just the nagging little brother.
Yeah,
just clocking your tea, just making fun of your ass, and that's so like generational gap. I feel too, where it's like it was a quip, bro. I'm like, I didn't see it that way. I don't know. He was just funny for that, but also
it was so funny.
But also work on your communication.
He's also young. He's got time to work on that too.
My highlight was that Harry reiterated that, hey, he approved of Ravi dating his sister.
That was cute.
And that, you know, the whole, like, you should find another firehouse. It was a quip. It was a joke. Sure, guy.
Not sure it was.
Didn't sound like a joke to me.
It's like, Harry, realize you are the brother here. You know what I mean? You are the brother. Realize that you were talking about your sister. I don't know. What
He's
you
just
said
a baby.
Matters, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
He was trying to be protective brother, and
well, it didn't land.
No. I really also loved for Harry how quickly he stirred the gossip mill by spilling all of Ravi's business to everyone in the gym, when it all starts from like Harry's mouth first, and he's telling Hen, and then Hen's telling Eddie, and then Eddie's telling Chimney. It's so funny because it's like you see how, well, first of all, how quickly he is part of the family, kind of because he's always been there anyways. So it's nice to see it in this way where he's part of the family at work too. And then just like how they operate as like, we know they gossip. We know they chit chat and everybody knows everybody's business. But that was so fun to watch like happen in real time. And it's all Harry just being like, well, he wanted to date my sister, but now he messed up. So absolutely ragging on him. Poor guy.
Speaking of Ravi, my Ravi highlight is just him being just a little pretty prince with his Bambi eyes who takes everything literally, because same, I also took that literally. I thought he was completely serious. Like, I'm on Ravi's side here, man. Like, maybe he should have still called her, because Harry was like, you didn't even call her? Like, but like, what was he gonna say? Like, that was great. I can't ever see you again because your brother said so. Like that was great. We should remain friends. Like, not even hit her with that.
I don't know. I don't get the choices here. I feel like there should have been
choices for either of them, actually. Yeah.
For her and for him. But like, I feel like for him, he should have followed up with Harry and be like, wait, are you being for real? Like, I don't know. Like, I really can't date your sister, or like, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I guess this goes into my next point. I mean, my highlight, I guess, is that Ravi, you are such a supportive future for real boyfriend because of what you say to her at the end. That she'd be great at anything that she would want to do, but also respect for respecting the bro code.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's Harry should approve. That's a stand-up guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, but yeah, my guy, you should have followed up on her and on Harry. I don't know. Should have done something.
He was like in the hospital, like, Ravi, like look at him. He's here. Ian, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Ian. Like, look at him. He's there. And then he comes over and he's like, anything you need, I'll try and get you guys through as fast as possible. Like, he remembered both of their names. And he was like, what a gentleman. And I was like, what about Ravi? It was like, he was respecting your wishes.
Exactly.
Like, that was
diabolical.
No, that was Harry like getting back at Ravi for all of those innuendos.
Okay, fair.
From the other episode.
I mean,
just kind of like
Harry walked into those by just being so goddamn.
Well, he literally walked into it.
He was so uncomfortable. Like, I would have picked on his ass too. Like, it was right there for the taking.
Yeah. I don't know. It was so funny because I took the, if you want to change firehouses as a joke.
I also took it as a joke.
But I thought the sure you can date my sister. I thought that was the sarcastic part. And I was like, I don't know.
I thought it was one. Yeah, if you want to change firehouses, because I don't want to work with someone who's dating my sister. I literally, and maybe this is just autism problems, but I literally thought that's what he meant.
No, I think like I think as a viewer, like, if there's difference, like if you're putting yourself in the character in that moment, yeah, okay, I understand the doubts. But as a viewer, I sat there and I was like, oh, it's a joke. Yeah. But as a character, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my highlight, and this is going to sound really familiar, is jealousy over the competition, right? Very cute. Always happens in the gym also. I don't know. It's also just kind of something similar to what we saw earlier this season where, you have everybody in the gym, like looking at a couple people's social media things on the phone and being like, looking at them. What about it? Like,
oh, I love a good appearance of my chismoso Eddie. Love that.
Yeah. So I just thought like Ravi, because we know he's kind of insecure, like from the Bachelor auction, where he was like, I don't know if anyone's going to like me for me. So he was like, bumping up his resume essentially. And this kind of feeds into that. Like he's like a little self-conscious guy. And it's interesting to see how that manifested in this way, where he was like, also, man, he can't even be angry because Ian was such like a stand-up guy and everything like that. But it was very cute.
Yeah. Madeline.
Madeline. Her government name is Maddie.
I know. It's a joke.
And Margaret said, you and your nicknames. Excuse me, ma'am.
You named her a nickname, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, my highlight for Maddie is her really not wanting to take the leadership role, but doing it for Sue, and then just like fitting really nicely into it. And I was like, this just mirrors her husband so well. That's exactly what happened. Because he was like, I'm going to take over, honor Bobby, and I don't really want to do it. But he just did such a good job. I think the people who make the best leaders kind of don't want to do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but those are the people where the trust is like bestowed upon them because they don't want to, seize power or whatever. Yeah. But I love that duel between now Chimney's captain and Maddie's dispatch lead. Poetic.
My highlight for Maddie was that even though this promotion was bestowed on her, I love that she didn't want it to affect her friendship with Josh. That's such a real thing happens.
Yeah.
She really valued her friendship with Josh over that promotion. And yeah, so sad. But at least he came back.
Yeah. And I think we kind of saw in 15, they were kind of like Josh is her like right-hand man.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like working with each other in that way, kind of similarly to how he was with Sue. And I think that's probably like the best dynamic for them. I really loved how Maddie learned or like is in the process of learning how to delegate and lean on others as a leader, because I think we have seen her kind of like learn those lessons just like in general as a person and as like a dispatch operator, but this is a new facet of it. And at the beginning where she's like trying to do all of it herself and put out all of the metaphorical fires of dispatch herself and ending up like falling really behind and not being able to do the job as well as she could until she learns how to delegate. Like we see the next time she goes in, and I forget his name, but someone said like they had another glitch thing and she's about to like step in and was like, call Terry. Mm-hmm. Terry can do it. And just the way that she's able to like lean on her support in a professional way. A lot of this episode was like lean on support in a personal way, but this is, how it translates professionally too. And I love that for her. It's like she's growing up.
All right, Chimney. So I love how he was being really supportive of Maddie on her first day. I don't know, Chimney's just supportive king these days. So, but yeah, I love that he was being very supportive of her in the morning and then being like, now you're thinking like a boss, and just giving her,
it's so cute,
giving her I guess her flowers and giving her hope that she's going to do a good job.
That was so cute. And also like he's able to say that from personal experience now because he was going through that.
Oh yeah. Because like she was being so supportive of him, and then now he's being supportive of her. It's like we've done the circle now.
Comes full circle. Yeah, exactly. It's like the best kind of karma for Maddie and Chimney. Kind of feeds into each other.
Yeah. Okay, so my highlight for Chim is how he handled Buck coming to him for help. I thought it was really like the most him channeling Bobby as a captain that we've kind of seen. Because obviously I think they have different styles like in the field, and that's fine. That's great. And then like they have different personalities. So the way that they support people emotionally, I think is different too. Because like Chimney's not really like the father figure. He's
like the fun uncle.
Exactly what I was going to say. Fun uncle, or like your weirdly much older brother.
Yeah.
But he handled it like so beautifully and so much like Bobby would have, that like I just found it really touching, and how much like grace and compassion he had for Buck. Like he took it seriously, and he was like, and this is serious, but he's like, this is what protocol says that I should do. But he's like, well, I could do this other thing. Or he kind of found like a compromise. And I feel like that is exactly what Bobby would have done, and just like rallied the troops together, so to speak. I just thought it was just a very beautiful moment and kind of like culmination of his arc as a captain. Yeah. Cause I think this is the first big personal like emotion thing he's had to deal with like as captain. And he handled it beautifully. So,
and he didn't, there was no doubt in his mind. He knew exactly what he needed to do. There was no like, oh, what would Bobby do that we saw so much of earlier in the season? It was like the him really coming into his own as captain. And like I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, me too. Because I was reading the rest of the dialogue because he's, you know, he's like, Buck's like, this isn't me. And he's like, Buck, I know that. Like, you're not the first person that's ever happened to, like, after an injury. And I can't say I'm shocked given the timing. Like, and Buck is like, what does that mean? And he's like, it's been 1 year since we lost Bobby. And when Buck's like, I don't remember, he's like, that's grief. You don't see it coming. And then it sucker punches you in the face. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was
Thanks for reading that right now.
Really, really, really beautiful scene for Chimney. Because, you know, he is such a like fun times, silly, goofy guy. All the tears in your eyes. Oh no.
All I can do is read it. I can't see anything right now.
Oh no.
I don't have any tissues.
Oh no.
Use them all up.
She's like, why is this bitch crying?
Why are you crying?
Because I'm a sensitive being, okay?
I'm a sensitive being. You don't see me crying all the time. I'm just kidding.
I read the dialogue with the Chimney and Buck scene.
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because like in the episode, like that's what got me. That's what got me the first time. That's like immediately when Buck went over to Chimney.
Yeah.
When I was watching it again earlier today, just like immediate tears. Like, I mean, I'm a leaky faucet anyways, but
leaky faucet anyway.
No, seriously, this is also probably because I cried earlier.
Oh,
so it's
yeah,
like,
it's already
it's already there.
Yep.
It's already in me.
Yeah. So I just think this is one of the because Chim is a very soft, kind-hearted person. He just is also very funny. So like that's normally what we see. This was also just
He's
a really
silly goose.
this was a really beautiful moment for him, like as captain, obviously, for a lot of reasons, the ones we listed, and just for Chimney, because like the relationship we see him have with Buck is oftentimes just like big brother, little brother, like almost antagonistic.
Kind of ribbing also.
Yeah. You know, affectionate.
Yeah.
Antagonizing him.
It's because he can and he's an easy target and it's fun.
Yes. And that's his love language.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's his love language with his little brother. But yeah, so it was really nice to just see, because like, you know, Kenny Choi is one of the actors of all time. So
he sure is.
When we get to see him like stretch the like serious emotional, you know, muscles more. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think I cried. Maybe I teared up in this scene. I think at the end when like Buck was like, this isn't me. Like,
oh yeah.
part, like I teared up.
That's where it gets me for sure.
Yeah.
No, it was immediate for me.
I do love how Buck's like, oh, I just told you, Captain. Like it's like that's who he's gonna go with. Like he would have gone to Bobby, but now it's Chimney.
Yeah, so kind of riding on the coattails of your highlight hand, my highlight for Chim was kind of specifically in the way that his expression changed when he realized Buck was being serious, and it went from like kind of mild exasperation, like because he was being interrupted, like doing his captain-y work, to like immediate concern, and how quickly the flip switched with that, where it was like, oh, okay, no, this is more important. Just Kenny Choi, the actor you are. Like that was such a beautiful face journey, for lack of a better term. And you could just like see it so clearly on Chimney's face that he was like, his immediate concern was Buck, but also like, oh gosh, okay, how do I need to approach this as a captain, because he's, you know, like coming to me as a captain, but also friend and brother-in-law. Like, it was just like all of those things. You could see it on his face so clearly. It was a beautiful expression.
Yeah.
There we go. I didn't even cry again.
Boring.
I've already cried so many times with this podcast. Jesus
boring.
Christ.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wow.
Kenny Choi, the man that truly the man that you are, the actor that you are.
Kenny.
We love you so much.
Say thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny.
If we rebrand as the Chimney System, just don't mind us. It's fine.
He's gonna enjoy that.
I mean, like, we already knew that we loved Kenny Choi, and then we had a meet and greet with him, and we can't talk about the meet and greet, but what you need to know is that if you ever meet Kenny Choi and you get to talk to him for longer than a minute, you will fall in love with him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at right now.
No, literally, I was like, move over, Ryan, move over, Oliver. This is not the Chimney System.
Yeah. Ugh.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Love you, Kenny. Okay, moving on. I guess to talk about Buck.
You should get a hat that says the Chimney System, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Just putting it out
like
there.
Get a hat. Like I can't make it.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Buck's highlights. So my highlight for Buck was that he actually went to Chimney for help and decided to let his family support him instead of going into a facility, because I feel like that very well could have been something that he chose to do instead if he really wanted to like maintain more distance like he had been creating between them.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked out well.
It wouldn't have gone well. No, I don't think emotionally for him that would have been good.
No.
So I think being able to really open himself up and let them see him at his worst, like at like his literal rock bottom, and have them love him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Oh no.
Wow.
I'm gonna put a counter up for how many times I make Rachel cry in this episode. God damn.
No, because you said they saw him at his worst when you're at your worst and
they're at their worst.
Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna talk about that for gay reasons.
Okay, I'll probably cry then too.
But yeah, I just think as the character who really does try very hard, even when he isn't feeling it, to be like sunshine, like optimistic, like peppy, like upbeat, you know, or to like kind of try to be the comedic relief, or like I think for him to open up and ask for help and then accept the help from everyone and like invite them into his space. I think that it took a lot of trust on his part and a lot of faith in them and their love for him. And I think that like kind of marks like some of the biggest character growth we've ever seen in Buck, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've been waiting for since
forever.
Bobby.
Since forever, but
especially since Bobby.
Yeah. So yay.
Yeah. So my highlight for Buck was during when after he was talking to Eddie, or after Eddie leaves to go check up on Chris in the ambulance. So it was really like when he showed restraint and not taking the vials of fentanyl. So yeah, that was my highlight for him. And then obviously what happens after, which is, you know, asking for help. Like he was really fighting those demons, you know.
He was.
And in that particular moment he did win, but it's really like he's like, I don't know if I could do that again. So
God, I keep getting goosebumps thinking about this storyline. That's crazy.
It's wild.
But no, for him to open up and ask for help because he's like, I don't know that I can trust myself, but like he trusts Chimney and he trusts everyone else to take care of him. Like, that's just beautiful.
That says so much.
Yeah, no, that's a testament to his growth, really.
Yeah.
You
good, bro?
No. I didn't think I was going to be crying this much. I told you I am a leaky faucet. Like it just because I teared up that first time. It's just gonna keep going. So sorry for anybody watching. So kind of similarly, I feel like these are all kind of hitting the same or similar points here. But my highlight for Buck was him going into the ambulance, and it was so clear that he was gonna try to ask Eddie for help first, and then he backed off at the last minute. But like just to even get to that point was, I think, a huge step. And especially because, and I know we always harp on 8/17 about how, you know, there had been a shift that happened a little before then, where Eddie was the one that was trying to reach out and Buck was the one that was isolating himself. So to me, having this moment of Buck trying so hard to reach out to Eddie specifically, I thought was a beautiful, like, kind of, it's not fully done yet because he didn't quite get there, but
almost,
like, the progress there is not insignificant. And I think in more than just it was in this particular instance, I think that's indicative of like their relationship kind of like from a picture sort of way, like we're getting there.
If Eddie hadn't walked away because of the phone call from Chris and the drawer hadn't been left open and the temptation of the drugs hadn't been there, he still would have talked to Eddie first, if that makes sense. But because it was something that came up that like he was like, oh, I don't trust myself around this, and I cannot only harm myself, but, you know,
get Eddie in trouble.
Get Eddie or other people in trouble. Then he was like, okay, I don't trust myself, and went to Chimney as his captain.
Yeah, because the whole like I was thinking about trucks thing was weak, and Eddie knew that, and that like completely stopped when Eddie looked up at Buck and realized what was happening. Yeah. So I think if the other things didn't happen to interrupt, which is so in line with so many things this season, I think he would have ended up telling Eddie. But I do love the way that it worked out with Chimney, and
same.
He was going to be in safe hands no matter who he told.
Yeah.
God.
Should talk about Eddie?
Maybe.
My highlight for Eddie was him bringing Chris to be with Buck at the end of 9/15, because Chris is old enough to be there, like old enough to be told the truth of what's going on, but he's a member of Buck's immediate family, basically. Like, he should be there, not just because... I liked it for a lot of reasons. One of them was like, it isn't just like, here, you're sad, here's my kid. It's like, my kid should be here because like he's a big part of your life. So he should be here even for this. I really liked that he didn't want to go through Buck stuff, and he felt like it was wrong. And that he was like fighting with that in himself. But I think really just him bringing Chris like really showed that even that at Buck's lowest, like at Buck's worst, Eddie still trusts him like with his world, and his entire world is Chris. So I just thought that was like really, I think it said a lot that he was there, that he brought him to be there.
Just like how much he trusts Buck when Buck can't even trust himself at the moment.
Yeah, he still trusts Buck and trusts Buck with Chris.
My highlight for Eddie is basically him never leaving Buck's side, and that he consistently tries to show up, even though he does this thing where he's like trying to back off because he doesn't want to like push Buck away. And we're going to probably talk about it, which is the whole, like, I want him to open the door. I don't want to break it. But either way, like Eddie is still there regardless in both episodes. So I really enjoyed that.
My highlight for Eddie, which I feel is going to track for both of you, for me, is Eddie's chain of command. And we finally kind of figure out why he's all like always about the chain of command sort of thing. And to Eddie, it's so much of what ties them all together rather than like what Buck thinks, which is like holding him back. So it's to Eddie, it's what connects them all so that no one person can carry the weight alone. I think that is the thesis for this episode, kind of for the last episode, kind of for the season, and a little bit of the show as a whole. Just, you know, like the ties that bind and carrying the weight. Like so much of this is pinging stuff from like early season 1 from like Let Go and just so much around that. But I thought that was like a beautiful way to phrase how Eddie thinks of kind of like the order of operations, right? And kind of why he values that camaraderie so much. Because I'm also thinking back to Dose when he's getting interviewed with Taylor Kelly, and it was like, why did he go from the army to the firefighter academy? And it was because of that unit and kind of familial aspect that he really values. And I love that.
Okay, it's time for Eddiemaxxing. Queer Eddiemaxxing. It's always Eddiemaxxing. Specifically queer Eddiemaxxing.
It's always Eddiemaxxing.
It's always Eddiemaxxing hours. All day, every day.
Yeah.
Every day, son. All day, son.
I can't do the Ariana Grande. It's like, yeah.
Okay. So I guess first and foremost, is this Eddie experiencing attraction to someone?
Pokemon meme? Is this
talking about the
or
moment
acknowledging?
Yeah, in 9:15, where he's looking at the pictures of Ian, and he just goes, "Damn!"
Like said, big muscle man.
like damn, big muscly shirtless man.
So remember how I referenced this scene back to 9:07 when, you know, Buck and Ravi and Eddie were all looking at the pictures of Jade and Zane?
Yeah, they were mostly just looking at Jade's Instagram.
Yeah, but like Eddie didn't say nothing.
Nope. He was not moved. Yeah, because he kept going, wow, she's really hot. Yeah, she's really hot.
The most we got from Eddie was like, that's it.
But
this was like a damn. Like
Yeah, for Ian. Oh, man.
Came from deep within him. That was ripped out of him against his will.
And really...
Anyway, yeah, so one of the only times we've seen him possibly experience attraction, except for the couple times that we've mentioned towards Buck that we were like, is that attraction? Because he's definitely never exhibited it for women, notably. No.
To me, that was really giving like demisexual, but can appreciate someone's aesthetic like attractiveness.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Just like, I can recognize this person looks like that. Damn.
He's like, damn, good for you, May.
Has he ever like expressed that about anyone?
No. Literally never.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I don't know. Like, we've seen him sleep with women, and it's never like, even when he's actually sleeping with them, it's never
like he's attracted to them.
No. It's like, good job, team.
It's like he knows they're beautiful, or he like acknowledges that they're pretty, or can acknowledge. I don't think he's actually like said anything.
No,
or if it has, it's just been in passing. But like, nothing on the inside is like,
it's never been like a sexual it's never been like like a sexual attraction to women. It's always been like, I mean, verbally, like in a verbal way. Like, it's never been like that specifically. And then this big muscle man on the phone, I mean, on Instagram, he's just like, this is his reaction. It's like, damn.
It's almost like he has a type, and that type is big muscly men.
Crazy.
I'm so sure.
I know another big muscly man.
Oh, yeah. Right in front of him?
Yeah.
Oh my
not
God.
Right.
Let's move.
not at that moment.
Not at that moment.
Not at that moment. But like
in general.
In his mind.
Yes. The one that he's focused on, always looking for. But I mean, okay, if we're going to talk about the damn at Ian, let's talk about the like awkward smile. Okay, panic runs away from Zane, because these two body in terms of body type, like these two are vastly different. That's all I'm saying. So if there's a type for Eddie, and we didn't do it in a comparison to Zane, because this is the only other person that has shown Eddie,
a man that's shown interest in him, which is crazy, because he lives in LA and he looks like that.
And he looks like that.
And also, like, Eddie wasn't confronted with, like Ian in person taking an interest in Eddie. So it was just, it's kind of like safe to look beyond, from behind the screen.
On a more serious note, I think I did touch on this earlier, but now I'm going to do it in a gay way. There's still nobody in the world Eddie trusts in the world with his son more than Buck, like even now. And that's everything. That's everything. That's his partner. That's his co-parent. He's like, of course our kid is here, because our kid is almost 16. So I just think it says so much about how high he regards Buck, how much he trusts him with everything, especially his kid. Like that. Yeah. Even through this, he's like, nope, I still like, I think it might have been part of a conscious thought to bring Chris there to show him that he still trusts him.
I think so too, because because of the way the scene is I think, displayed, I guess, or cut. I think it's him in the kitchen, being like, he doesn't, he feels reservations, like searching through his house. And then I think the following scene is Chris and Buck playing cards. It just shows like the amount of trust that Eddie has in Buck, even when he's going through something like this. And I think it's so meaningful to show, to bring Chris there, because I think any parent would actually be like, no, I'm going to keep this away from my kid, actually. Like protect them. In a protective way. But I think with Buck, like Eddie does trust that Buck would never do anything to harm Chris, and that Chris and Buck need each other, and that Buck will get through this at the end of the day. So I think that's a very high level of trust between that whole family dynamic unit.
Yes.
Family unit.
Oh, entirely. And I mean, I know this is kind of like going into a little bit of like the married behavior that we do in Buddiemaxxing, but like the way that Eddie always brings Christopher over to cheer Buck up. And this is just another instance of that, but it's so layered because of that extra like trust that Eddie was basically communicating by bringing Christopher over. It's like, I still trust you. I want Chris to still trust you. I want to make you feel better by bringing Chris over anyways. So it's just like, it's so consistent in that co-parenting.
I think it was purposefully done because if you listen to the dialogue around it too, it's like, it's Buck saying, Chris is like, sucks to have people touching your stuff. And he's like, yeah, but it really sucks because they're doing it because they don't trust me. And Chris is like, would you trust you? And it's like, Buck is like, probably not, right? But Eddie still does trust him. Eddie's like, I don't like this. We're treating him like he's a criminal. You can't convince me otherwise. He brought Chris there, like in part because he knew how much this was going to affect Buck, like psychologically, to like be treated like he wasn't
he wasn't trustworthy anymore.
Yeah. So he brought here's my trust card.
It really is his trust card.
Yes. Here's how much I trust
every
you.
time.
Yes.
Yeah. Like even when we're fighting, I still trust you.
Exactly.
Even when, we're on different pages, I still trust you.
Yeah.
Here's our kid.
Yep.
There's a scene in Buck's kitchen between Hen and Eddie where they're talking about like, how did Eddie Eddie's, kind of like, I can't believe I missed the signs. Like I knew something was wrong, but like I should have like pressured him to tell me sooner or something. And Hen was going deeper into her like experience with somebody who used drugs, and which was Eva, which is such a callback. And she's telling him, not to blame himself. Like this is and she's like explaining the cycle, like basically that they're like, the person acts like they're fine and they deflect, and so
it makes you feel guilty.
It makes you feel guilty for questioning them.
Yeah. So those parallels are wild, but it's also the fact that like, how, and Hen's watching him him like be like physically agitated at the thought of like treating Buck like he doesn't trust him.
Yeah, like he's slamming the cabinet door.
Like he hates
like, I hate this.
And she's recognizing herself in him because he's like, I knew something was wrong and he convinced me I was overreacting. And it's just like, he's like, this feels wrong. Like we're searching his house like he's a criminal. And then she explains like the cycle, and he's like, now I'm wishing I would have questioned more after New Mexico. And she gives him this look that I have written in my notes as LEWK because it's more significant than an LOOK,
The Luke.
I don't know. You could say hashtag noticing.
Yes.
she's
definitely
cataloging this in her own little that's gay notebook,
folder,
filing that away for later. But I don't know. It's just so interesting, like to have. God damn it! I was trying really hard not to say that.
Wow, Han says interesting once more. I hope you guys are watered.
Hydrated. Baby Bybuck?
I think it's Baby Bybuck.
Especially you, Baby Bybuck.
Take a drink of water.
It's
I don't know
fine.
if we'll keep that in there.
We're over 2 hours into this recording. I'm proud of myself. Anyway.
I might have said it a couple times.
I don't care if you say it. I'm trying to say it. I'm trying to vary my words. I'm not great at it. Anyway. I just think it's notable that she's giving him this look. Kind of reminded me of some of the looks that she's given him in the past when he says things like, I just hate dating. Feels like I have to perform. And
got that cadence really good there.
Thank you.
Side eye.
And she's like, the side eye. So it reminded me of that. It also reminded me of 706 when, Hen and Karen look at Buck's soot-covered face and figure out what happened there. And they're like, it's about time. Like, it's very much like all-knowing lesbian look, Yeah. She sees all. I just think it's definitely something that we should.
The AKL, all-knowing lesbian.
Yes.
Look.
And absolutely clocked something,
Again.
Yes, again. Once again.
So I just want to add this. How many hashtag noticings do we have? I think we need to make a list of the hashtag noticings of the season. Because like
of Hen noticing or
other characters. Because I know people are like
Hen, Maddie, Ravi.
Yes.
Athena
a little bit, yeah.
Athena a little bit.
Chimney? feel like
Chimney
does not know.
Love him so much.
I love Chimney to death, but no, he has no idea what's happening.
I know people
will
make an argument for Buck. I know people will make an argument for Buck, but that
can't be swirling around in his consciousness.
Buck notices things, and then it's just like that's normal straight behavior. And then
I'm not going to question it.
And then like
I think it's funny.
It's like, okay,
that can't hurt me because I can't read. That's what he does. Like
that's exactly.
Yeah.
So we got oblivious Chimney. We've got Buck who doesn't want to look at things because he's like, And then we've got
blissfully ignorant.
Ravi, Hen, Athena, Maddie being like,
yeah,
bro.
All of them just being like, you see the shit?
Basically. Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Hold on. we gotta continue this list. Maybe Abigail. Then we've got the people at the diner. Then we've got the sheriff. Then we've got maybe even Alex a little bit. I don't know. We've got a whole list of outside characters to be like,
the couple from 914.
Oh yeah, them too. We're probably like, well, this is weird.
Like, this is our marital dispute. Exactly. Could you not? Like,
can you not project right in front of us? Like, hello.
Everybody knows.
Having a medical crisis.
Hashtag everybody knows, except for those two.
For Chimney
and
Buck.
Listen,
and Eddie.
Listen, the funniest thing is going to be when finally everyone actually does know, including Buck and Eddie, but the last person to know will be Chimney, and that will be the humor of it all.
The funniest thing would be like if everyone's like, oh my God, it's finally happening. He'll be like, what? He'll be like, Buck and Eddie. And he'll be like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
You know what would be funnier? If for some reason Chimney this is fanfic moment. If Chimney were to be the one that knows and nobody else would know.
I like that version of it too, where it's kind of like put it on its head. And it's like,
if they ever do secret relationship, Chimney will absolutely be the first to know.
Oh yeah,
yes, because then he has to like war with the tension of I have knowledge that I can't share with anyone, and that's like
Maddie's been waiting for like imagine he doesn't even tell Maddie.
Oh my God,
that'd be really funny. You know what I mean?
Should be like you're sleeping on the couch for a month.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly, I will enjoy
either
scenario either way very much.
Yeah. Yep. Hashtag noticing a lot of it. Okay, so I forget who did this, but shout out to whatever editor posted this on TikTok. But they were like, I'm editing right now, and they were slowing down the like part of the montage where everyone's at the dinner table and Buck gets up, and they were like, look at Eddie, because he is like, everyone else is like looking up at Buck, and Eddie is doing the quintessential Buck and Eddie look down, look up, like checking each other out. So he's doing like Buck's literally going through the fucking horrors, and he's like, but he still look good though. So that's gay.
Hate to watch him go, but love to watch him leave.
Yeah, like he's getting up from the table and he's like, oh, this is my moment to check him out. And then he looks up at him finally and is like, oh shit, he looks really bad. And then his like forehead scrunches and his eyebrows go down. You know what I mean? But like everyone else immediately concerned that Buck's getting up. Eddie had to take a gay pause to like,
oh boy,
look him up and down.
Not the gay
before
pause.
He got there. He did. He needed a moment.
Nobody would have been able to see his expression either because everyone's turned away.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Yep. Except us.
Oh,
that was terrifying, Ham. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Evil gay laughter.
That was.
It's the same. I channel Salem the cat sometimes.
Well, I didn't think you meant the city, so.
Anyway,
I'm terrified right now.
You should be. We're evil people.
How'd I end up here?
Because you love us.
So, anyway, and the looks. They continue with the low, breathy way he's talking to Buck on the couch with that serious couch coffee. It wasn't a coffee table, was it?
The coffee table blocking.
With the coffee table blocking.
Yep.
Thanks, Couch Theory.
They're just like staring at each other with the flirty eyes.
And so much fondness. I don't know what their eyes are doing, but they're doing
taking
things.
His blood pressure.
Eddie's eyes are twinkling with the homosexuality of his past and
like, future, actually.
And like it's the soft, breathy like delivery again. that he did in 913 that I was obsessed with.
Yes.
He's like,
yes.
I know. Or when he was like, Buck, and Buck couldn't even hear him. Crazy work. What are we doing? Well,
we're having a moment.
This is gay.
He's having a moment. He's having a gay moment. And he's doing such a good job at it.
Really gay.
Keep doing it.
I mean, he's looking at him telling Buck how much he and everyone else love him and want to help shoulder the weight.
Well, yes.
And that's just real partner stuff.
Yes.
It's the thing that ties us all together so that no one person has to carry the weight alone.
Okay.
He said, lean on me.
But he said it all breathy like.
He just said it in a way. Why?
It was an intimate moment. That's what it was, because there was with everyone else around in the house, they were the only ones in the living room right there. Nobody even like in the background, like walking from room to room. And we know there's like some hallways around there. It was just them, like the world distilled to them in that moment.
You worked with
each other's whole world, bro.
You and that chain of command. Buck, stand up. You're going through the horrors and you're still flirting.
Oh my God. You know what that's giving? You and that chain of command. I didn't know any better. I thought you were going to take a swing at me.
Oh my God.
It's that same thing, right? Right?
Yeah, it is. It's a very similar intonation in his voice when delivering that. It's super gay.
Tim,
you're literally detoxing.
Listen, he's detoxing, but he's got priorities,
dude,
okay?
I need to see. Okay,
right
sorry. I remembered we're in queer Eddiemaxxing, not Buddiemaxxing.
Oh, shit.
Really quickly.
Sorry.
I know. This is kind of a little bit of everything today.
I guess this is still Buddy, but I specifically want to talk about, I think this was our last thing. There's probably more, but this is what I have written down. I just want to talk about how Eddie is not prepared and we're not prepared for when Buck actually flirts with him, like with intention, not prepared. If this is how he responds to his like literal rock bottom flirting.
And it's kind of worse because we know Buck is not like the most suave, but Eddie thinks so.
I said this before. I think they're down bad for down bad, especially because like I think they're both bad at flirting. So whatever.
They're good at it with each other, though.
No, they're both bad at flirting. They're both bad at flirting. So like, but for each other, it's like anything that the other person says is great. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, oh my God, tell me more.
Yes, that's basically.
Tell me more about trucks.
You're more of a hatchback guy. Is there a metaphor there? There's got to be a metaphor there.
I feel like there is.
Oh, there's absolutely a metaphor there. Because I was like, they can't name drop Subaru without it being like a product placement they actually get money for. But I was like, the answers here would be Jeep or Subaru because those are the gay or bisexual cars.
He's already had a Jeep.
Yes. Do we have more gay Eddie stuff?
No.
I feel like there's more gay Eddie stuff, and I just don't.
We were going through the horrors.
Yeah. I think there's more. I think the stuff is more like.
It's more like married behavior.
Yeah. Married behavior. Yeah.
Oh, I will say this one. Eddie was playing host at Buck's house. He's not a guest at that house. He was playing host at that house. He was like telling Chimney where to put the groceries. He was always around Buck, mostly orbiting Buck, especially in that shot where they're orbiting him. He was at his bedside. I feel like in terms of, partnership, Eddie definitely filled that role.
Yeah. And you would think it would be more like Maddie. Right? Yeah. But Eddie seemed to be the more prominent figure in that montage. I guess I
have notes on this in the Buddiemaxxing section.
Well, let's go there now.
Let's go to the there.
Let's go to the there. I would like to go to the there.
All right. Breaking Buddy news. You won't guess it, but there's more married behavior.
No.
Who would have thought?
What? Oh my God.
This is my shocked face.
Not all of us. Not every single person who watches this show with media literacy who is gay.
I mean, it's like, it's pretty blatant.
It's loud.
So Buck in the beginning of 914 is hiding that he didn't go to therapy. And Eddie clocks it because Eddie knows the schedule he was supposed to have. So when he hears a story in which Buck was not where he was supposed to be at the therapy that he told him he should get, but they agreed that he should get, but he signed up for and told him the date of his appointment because they're married. It's on his calendar.
Date and time. Apparently. Their shared calendar.
Buck looks really flighty and he runs away because he's like, oh, I'm clocked.
I've been caught.
My ass is grass. So he runs as soon
as
he knows he's busted because he knows that Eddie is going to see right through him. But nope, he followed him. He hunted him down like a dog and was like...
I was like, hey, what's up?
Weren't you supposed to be at therapy? Oh, you rescheduled? Rescheduled for when? Interesting.
So like I thought that Tuesdays was because I think this was a Tuesday or something specific. It was a very specific date. And I was like, oh, is Tuesdays are Tuesdays actually your dinner dates? Actually? Because you know, when they actually
the weekly dinner
dates, because he was like, I'll see you next week. And I'm like, we'll see him tomorrow at the fire station. Oh, you guys have dinner every week. So like I was like, so did he like bail? Or he's like, I had a therapy appointment, but he actually didn't go. And then he went to like it was a whole thing.
Imagine if Buck had to cancel Eddie and Chris dinner to go to therapy and then didn't go to therapy, but went to Maddie and Chimney's with dinner with them and Sue and her husband.
I would be.
That would get you in trouble real fast.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Yeah, but also just like the fact that immediately Eddie notices that something's off and he books it right after him and is like doing that poke thing to try to get Buck to talk, which usually works.
It's usually Buck's job to Eddie, honestly. Normally Buck's just an open book.
True.
So he's reverse Unoing the situation.
Yeah. I definitely feel like it's residue from our 913 adventure, for sure. Because like, what are we doing here, Buck? You know?
Yeah, it's like I wonder in those couple weeks since if Eddie's been like
hovering,
particularly attentive. Yeah. Yes. And just making sure. So he's like on him a little more than he normally would be. And this is what's causing Buck to be like, let me deal with it on my own.
Actually, yeah, that makes me wonder if like they started doing their weekly dinners after that, you know, like a lot more.
Yeah. Maybe. Like if it was a freestanding thing or like something that became a thing or just with more frequency afterwards. Ooh, they trauma bonded, guys, like more than they already have actually, which is impressive.
Well, remember we were like, Eddie's not going to want to let Buck out of his sight. So this was definitely one of the ways that he was keeping tabs on him was like, oh, we have regular check-ins.
Yep.
And also you need to go to therapy and let me know exactly when it is to make sure you go.
Yeah.
To my calendar.
Standing appointment.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just some of the most obvious stuff here is Buck and Eddie mirroring the bickering engaged couple, Tia and Flynn, where they accidentally made like an explosive with the acetone. They mixed too many chemicals and they were very, very bickery outside, and just the way that they were bickering back and forth. And so were Eddie and Buck at the same time. It was just like, you can't really get, this is a like very, very common trope where you have like bickering married couple parallels with other characters who are not technically a couple yet, but are acting like a married couple. Like it was the same thing. And they were using the same reasoning, like the whole conversation. Flynn was saying, you know, I didn't need any help. And Tia was like, you never asked for help. And Eddie just like chimes in here while they're having their own, you know, couple argument. Eddie's just like, sometimes yourself isn't enough. Sometimes even the smart ones get help, and like looks very pointedly at Buck. And Buck, like this, Buck answers and it's like, true, but sometimes when you want a job done right, you have to do it alone. No distractions. So Eddie was kind of mirroring Tia and Buck was mirroring Flynn. And this is just like the Tia and Flynn stuff is a proxy argument for the banter that Eddie and Buck were having about Tia and Flynn's argument was a proxy argument for their own argument. It's just like,
we've seen this happen with an actual established couple on the show with Bobby and Athena in season 2. Season 2 with the drone call where like her nose gets fucked up and they had like had a fight about, I think it was like she asked him to move in and he was like hesitating about that.
Yeah.
And then they were having that couple was fighting because like they were gonna get engaged or he like proposed or whatever. It was like the same thing, like mirrored, like it was the same exact kind of thing that they did here with Buck and Eddie, who are not an established couple.
Yeah, like that's a classic trope. So I'm sorry, if not married, why so married? Riddle me that. And then like just throughout 914, I think there were so many Tia and Flynn mirrors to Buck and Eddie, just in general for a lot of the same reason that I just mentioned. But there was specifically that one conversation that they were having. Actually, I think right before that incendiary device was created when they were talking over the tile and like about their communication issues. And they were talking about, you know, how Flynn doesn't want anything and he just settles and he says like, I'm happily content. And he is like, you may be content, but you're seldom ever happy. And that just seems like very kind of particular to some stuff with Buck and Eddie. If you take it in like a, when will they ruin the friendship kind of way kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Where it's like, you know, they could just go on living the way they are, where they're so significant in each other's lives and they're comfortable in that. But like, will they ever be like the most happy they could be? Especially with Eddie, like who's learning to embrace joy and find joy. Like, will he allow himself to be more than just content by choosing something like that? Yeah. And just like the way they're at the very beginning, the way Tia and Flynn are like, Flynn's able to read Tia, like all of the expressions on her face, like a book, that kind of stuff, which is very what Eddie was doing with Buck.
Yeah, it's just so interesting because that couple, like clearly their roles in terms of Buck and Eddie, you know, like as proxies, like their roles like flip flop. Because at first, like I was like, oh, Tia is definitely Buck, Flynn is Eddie, and then that one scene where they're arguing in front of Buck and Eddie, I'm like, okay, it feels like it's switched, which is also interesting because I have said Buck and Eddie's roles have switched since 806, and so it's interesting that you brought up the whole like Eddie choosing joy. The thing is, like, Eddie is working on that consistently, I think, and Buck is the one that I'm just kind of like, what are you doing, bro?
He doesn't know.
Because like
status quo is fine. It doesn't rock the boat.
Exactly. So it's like maybe he's the one who's actually more settling. Flynn coded in terms of settling, being in that like we can't rock the boat right here, right now. It's because like gay Eddie could drop at any.
No, literally, I'm so sure of gay Eddie that I'm just like, they could hit us with it at any time. With the Buck feelings realization,
stay ready.
With the Buck feelings realization, I'm like, they have to prime that again. It's been that long. They have to prime it again.
Yeah,
but they've been priming gay Eddie all season, so
could drop at any moment.
It literally could be a surprise Taylor Swift double album drop. Like, we just never know when.
Exactly.
But we're ready.
We're ready-ish.
Are you ready for it?
Are you ready to not sleep?
More
than we already have.
Sleep till gay Eddie.
No, I'm so sorry. That's going to be another like 15-18 scenario where we're not going to get any sleep.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
Okay, so we touched on this a little bit earlier, but just to kind of break it down, Eddie being shown as Buck's main support system in both of these episodes, in 14 and in 15, which is crazy because he just went through these horrors, and like we showed Maddie in 13, every time we showed her, she was like freaking the fuck out. So you'd think that she'd be a little like Mother Henny, a little hovering.
More prominently
featured. You'd think you would see a Maddie and Buck conversation in one of these episodes, but you don't see one in either. You don't have a Buck and Maddie talk since episode 12,
which was significant,
which was a very good, Buck and Maddie talk, but we haven't had one. But who is he talking to? Who are all of the like serious talks with? It's all Eddie. Like in both episodes, like it's Eddie who's the one who's following around and hounding him and pestering him and checking up on him and being like, you're not okay, you need to talk to someone. It's Eddie who's just showing up at his house with Christopher and food, being like, we're here, let us in.
It is feeling like a reverse,
let us be here for you.
Reverse Eddie arc of a reverse season 5 Eddie arc for Buck. Yeah, that's what it's starting to feel.
Totally.
And just kind of like bouncing off of that, I guess, like in the montage, like Buck is in slow motion. Everyone is moving fast around him, but Eddie is the only one we see sitting with him on the couch during that montage, I'm pretty sure. And Eddie is just like kind of hovering right behind him, right next to him.
So much of the
time.
Like
very, very close to him while everyone else is like on the outskirts and like moving in and out of the frame. So like he really is in charge of like, I mean, Chimney's the one who organized it. He went to Chimney and he told Chimney, but like we said earlier, he would have told Eddie had the whole almost taking the pills thing not happened or taking the fentanyl thing not happened. So it really is like Eddie is his main support system. Chimney even goes, have you told Maddie? Eddie? Same breath.
Immediately.
Same breath. No pause.
Yeah.
They are at that same level. And I mean, what else is that?
Like the show has been doing this for years. It's been doing it since season 2, setting them up as partners because they were literal work partners and because they were the only uncoupled people. But it's like, as Ryan Guzman said, we're the most coupled uncouple. Like,
wow.
And it's just gotten it's just gotten more insane this season than this back half of this season. Like, it is crazy the amount of married behavior we're seeing on like new heights. And like, it was already very married before this. New heights, a manhood diseased.
I'm glad we all thought of that.
I saw Sil go, like I saw her sing it in her head.
Oh no,
it was
I
contagious. Okay.
All right. So Twitter user Callie.
Oh my God.
Twitter user Callie1294842.
Speaking of Taylor Swift,
Callie was so nice to point out the cards in Buck's hand when he was playing with Chris and how the 344J3 could spell out Eddie. So like Eddie is in the card.
in Buck's cards.
It's in Buck's cards.
Which hilarious if on purpose.
Hilarious if on purpose. That's a great Easter egg.
Brilliant if on purpose, actually.
If accident, crazy.
That's soulmateism.
But also, I guess, just like shout out to this, I'm pretty sure is just a random Twitter user who's now infamous.
Oh, Callie is liking and unliking tweets right now.
I saw some of those. And most of them were just about them being a random person, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this person started immediately getting accusations of being Tim Minear or Oliver Stark. And I would just like to point out several things. First of all, that they're both very employed and busy shooting the last couple episodes and writing the last couple episodes of the season. Second of all, Tim's literally on the record a couple weeks ago saying that he doesn't go on social media at all. And if he was, would he say low key spelled LWKY? Like, love dad with our whole hearts. He's 62.
Whoa.
Do you think?
Whoa, putting the age
do you really think he's spelling things like a Gen Z person?
Seeing that
Gen Z or like Gen Alpha?
Gen Alpha a little bit, because I don't write low key like that.
Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Either way, I'm not spelling low key like that.
I'm not either. So you know who definitely isn't our father? Oliver Stark. I can't speak for that man, but I'm pretty sure he is booked and busy right now.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not sure that's his kind of text pattern either.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so. No, he's
too millennial coded.
He's too millennial. Like, he does full sentences.
I'd go younger.
Even if they're short, they're full sentences.
I'd accuse someone younger if we're really talking about cast members.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. No, you're looking in the wrong bracket of people. If you really think it's a cast member.
In the wrong place.
Yes. Oh, children.
Anyway.
Not that we know, but it's just like suspicious, but also hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. Actually hilarious, because it's the first thing I saw when I opened my eyes this morning, because I think one of you texted it, and all the love and light to Jeggy, who we love, tagged us in a video where the beginning of it is talking about, this is Tim Minear's burner account. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? No, I can't speak on actual Chaos Demon Oliver Stark, but I think that if Tim Minear wanted to point something out, he would have just
done it.
He would have just
like, hey, that's me.
First of all, if he like put it in the episode, he would have just trusted you guys to get it or not get it. Second of all, if he really wanted you to know something, he would do it with his whole government name. That's his MO.
Listen, he wants to be recognized that he is the writer of all the gay shit. So
but shout out to you, Callie, whoever you are. I'm pretty sure a random person whose name is actually Callie.
Or Callie from random person named Callie from California.
Yeah, something like that.
I will say, I think it's absolutely hilarious. And if someone from the props department did that with intention, my hat off to you,
props
sir
to
or
them,
madam.
yes.
Props to you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because like, that's
funny.
That's so subtle and brilliant, if true.
You went to the Taylor School.
Yeah,
the Taylor School? The Taylor Swift School of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And numerology?
Yeah, and like respect the game.
Yeah. And shout out to whoever you are, Callie, for noticing that, because we didn't.
Yep.
Nobody did.
No one did. And that's why everyone was like, it's Tim Minear.
Which is also the funniest conclusion to draw here. Just like all of a sudden, oh, it's Tim.
Congrats. It was one of the funniest days ever on 911 Twitter, actually.
maybe right behind giant inflatable pumpkin.
Yeah, that was never going to be topped, I don't think.
That was just a good day.
Humor. It was.
Yeah, I love when we get fun days on 911 Twit, like a reward.
I'm gonna say it's like a sabbatical. It's like time off for good behavior. Anyway, Eddie is in Buck's cards. Back to the montage. We only see Eddie giving Buck meds.
I thought we had Hen giving him the IV, the banana bag.
Like actual meds to take.
Oh,
for his person to take.
You're talking about like in the bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, which would be the methadone, I think. That's what they use to wean you off of it. Something like that. Don't quote me. I'm quoting Carter from several days ago from Discord. But yeah, they like, I don't know. It just seemed like another significant thing to have like Eddie being the one to only give him that. Eddie being the one who's taking his blood pressure.
Like the caregiver role. Yes. Like the prime caregiver role.
Eddie being at his bedside, but extra closer than Chimney and Maddie.
Yeah.
Because that was interesting.
They show all three of them in the bedroom, and the chair is further away when it's Maddie and Chimney. And when Maddie and Chimney are in there, they're both like, Chim has a laptop, Maddie has a book. Eddie is just like leaning on his own leg, literally right next. He was almost on the bed, just like looking at him, watching him.
It's very Sleeping Beauty code.
It's very like nursing a loved one. Like it's very hurt comfort, like AO3.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
And it's
nursing him back to health. Yeah.
And it's like with Maddie and Chimney, like, of course they were paying attention to Buck.
Yeah.
But they were also.
Well, I think Maddie was reading to him. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. But like Eddie has no distraction or nothing else that he's focusing on. His focus is solely on Buck, not even like reading to Buck. It's only on him. Like he's his whole world. And he's right in front of him. And he's keeping him in his direct eye line. This is crazy.
Okay, like it's so. Well, I guess this is parallels and symbolism. I think it's interesting because like we have an episode where Eddie is actively looking for Buck. You know, we've got the parallels of 905 that you're looking in the wrong place. We've got the o'clocks. You know what I mean? and then like I said, 913, and then here, Eddie has been basically following him around in terms of like making sure that he's okay and like making sure that he's doing things, and then like just making sure that he's okay, right? And then we're finally at this scene. He's at his bedside. It's like to me, it's like without explicitly saying it, it's like he's found him, if that makes sense, like. And so like his focus is on him. Buck is still in his where are you, I think. Does that make sense? I'm just seeing a vision here. That's all. Like I'm just looking at the picture. So
I'm picking up on that. Like Buck's still kind of going through the horrors a little bit. So he's not like fully himself and able to realize like what's going on and all of this like attention that Eddie is paying him. Because again, he thinks it's just like normal behavior.
Yeah.
It's not.
No. There's also so much like even at the campfire, like there was a moment where like,
oh my God,
Eddie is looking at Buck with the most, soft look on his face. It's either soft, endearing. I just need new words. It's soft or endearing.
Gross.
It's
loving.
It's gross. Loving. There's a lot of attention that he's putting on Buck, and Buck, yes, he's in the middle of his horrors, but he's slowly getting through it. There's also like one more thing I wanted to say with that scene at his bedside. It is so crazy different how when you compare this scene versus 805 and that guy,
man, Mr. Plot Device.
Because and when you think about it, especially like with the lamp too. So like, Tommy goes to sleep, he turns off the lamp. Buck is in the dark, in the middle of the dark, doing his own thing and not being like supported and being talked to while he's doing his little research thing or like being taken seriously. Meanwhile, Eddie is over here putting the most care in the world for him. I mean, he has the light on, like they're both like shrouded in the light. Like, I don't know. There's just
It was very warm light. And in the loft, it was a lot more cold.
Yeah.
Honestly, actually, I think there's a lot of parallels to be drawn here between 915 and 805 with how Buck was in a position that he needed to be taken care of. And he only
got it from Eddie.
Trusted Eddie to do it. The whole, if you say so sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie is the one to look after Buck. And this isn't a new thing.
Mm-mm.
He's been relying on that for so much longer.
Even his ex-boyfriend, while he was still his boyfriend, knew that.
Yeah, like call Eddie. He's the medic. It's the only person that Buck will let take care of him because that's who he feels the most comfortable and the most vulnerable with.
Speaking of direct parallel to season 5,
could be
5. It's whenever Buck's like, is that really is that really love though? Shouldn't it be that when you're at your worst and they're at their worst? What is it?
518.
Shouldn't it be when you're at your worst, they're at their worst? You have every reason to give up and you still decide you want to try again. Season 5, episode 18.
Retweet.
Yeah. So huge parallel between like that quote and then imagine Eddie's breakdown and Buck's withdrawals.
Yeah.
So, but like if you compare, it's like when you're at your worst, Buck with his withdrawals, and they're at their worst, Eddie with his breakdown, you both decide
who was the person who was there for them
the
entire time.
Yes. You have every reason to give up and you still decide you want to try again.
Who was also the first person to realize something was wrong.
Yep.
It was each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Also kind of another parallel. So with Tia and Flynn, there were a number of instances where the front door to their house, their fixer-upper house, got
knocked down.
Thank you.
But it got up again. You're never going to keep it down.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna get me down. Okay.
Oh my god.
I can feel Soul's body, like her soul leaving her body every time we do a song break. The light leaves her eyes.
You give me song, brain becomes jukebox. What do you want? Anyways, so there's a number. ADHD. Anyways, so there's a number of instances where Tia and Flynn's front door to their fixer-upper house gets knocked down. And that just kind of really reminded me of the quote from Eddie, I think in season 7 finale, 710, where Eddie is talking to Buck, trying to get Christopher to come out of the room. And Eddie's like, I don't want to break the door down. I want him to open it. And that is the exact same thing that's happening with Eddie and Buck right now, where Eddie is like, and we saw this in 914 too. He was knocking on the door. He was knocking, trying to get Buck to let him in physically and metaphorically. And that first time Buck did not let him in. That second time Buck did, but it was like kind of very much a facade where he was playing a role, which is another thing that, keeps happening. And then eventually like the door gets opened anyways because Buck was going to open that door when he was going to tell Eddie in the ambulance. I got there. So yeah.
Take a shot. That's so interesting because where my brain started going with that is like future foreshadowing of Eddie trying to break down the door to Buck, like in a feelings kind of way.
I think it could work like that too.
It could work like that. Yeah.
Yes, like Eddie is going to realize because we've been saying this for a while that we're like, I guess it could be either of them, but we're kind of like, it kind of feels like it's gonna be Eddie.
Yes, it does.
Like he just feels like he's in a more primed place, like narratively, but also like he's in a better place. Like he's really happy and content with where he is. He's just gone through a lot of stuff with Buck that could really at any point like bring things to the surface. And then we've always said like when Eddie realizes, he's going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like when he realizes the feelings for Buck, it's going to be like, okay, that makes sense.
That's going to be his radical acceptance.
Yes. Yeah. That the feelings, his radical acceptance.
Yes.
Thinking about the queer implications of that, separate problem.
Yes. It's a Venn diagram. There's some overlap, but like,
it's like, yes, I love Buck. Does that make me gay? I haven't thought about it.
You're talking to Mr. Compartmentalization here. So,
that sounds like a separate issue.
I'll figure that out later.
So 8:14 actually in the kitchen scene, which I was like, I was right. They were gonna christen that kitchen.
You were right. Good job.
So I know that
all bow to Syl and her.
my Bluetooth connection with Tim Minear, I guess. I don't know.
It's a Scorpio.
It's a Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, like I was trying to say, so in 8:14, when Eddie finally, when Eddie was like, all right, I guess you seem okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buck does that slow walk towards him.
Uh-huh.
That gave me, I know, that's why I'm bringing it up right now.
Hand just like soul left body.
No, because we talked about this. Why did we not put it in the notes? I just threw my chapstick really angrily.
You did.
So Buck does that slow walk towards him, and I felt something, and it felt very familiar, almost like I was watching a little bit of 8-11 when Buck does that walk towards Tommy, and he's like looking at him from like, from, I know he's underneath his eyelashes. And I was like,
or from 309?
Oh, and 309.
And 309.
Another
Obviously.
slow walk in the kitchen. I'm just like, dude, the day that they finally...
Why is this man always like found horny in kitchen? You know?
Fork found in kitchen.
Horny man found in kitchen.
Like, he's also keeping his ring cutter there. So I'm just like,
what are you doing in this kitchen, man?
What are you doing in your kitchen
What will you be doing in this kitchen, my guy?
Just fork found in kitchen, but changed a couple of those middle letters.
But anyway, yeah, so that slow walk, I really, like, I'm not saying like I thought that something was going to happen there, but it just felt, there were feelings.
You felt that.
I felt that.
I felt that.
He's like, I know how I'll convince him I'm fine. I'll flirt. But like not consciously. He's not thinking that. But
exactly.
It's just like,
yeah.
I'll just be like my normal self where I like saunter up to him and I bat my pretty little baby blues at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, you're right. I should have listened to you.
You're right. I'm sorry.
It was a little bit of like Buck putting on like his Buck suit.
Yes.
Like the Buck persona that people attribute to him before they kind of get like more under the surface.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But choices were made.
Yeah, which is also interesting if you look at that in that way and go back to 8-11 and him like being like, oh, let me perform a little bit, Oh. Something else.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of performing, so much of this season we've seen specifically Eddie kind of take this advice that we've seen from season 1 when Bobby gave to Buck about, like stepping into it with someone. In that case, it was with Abby. But we've seen so much of Eddie this season stepping into it and meeting someone where they are and kind of like putting on a role. We saw that with the guy in the grave from 905. We saw that in, and I forget his name, Ben Cowan, I think, from the grocery store in 908 War, where Eddie was basically put on a role, stepped into it with them to try to meet them where they were. One of them kind of worked, one of them kind of didn't. Here you have Eddie stepping into, and the rest of the 118 as well. But, we've specifically been focusing on how Eddie is like basically the prime caregiver for Buck and him being the one to like notice things are off. So you have Eddie being so willing to step into it with Buck and be there with him in those moments. But Eddie's not playing a role in this. He is absolutely himself. He doesn't need to perform anything. He doesn't need to pretend to be something else, somewhere else. He is just Eddie because he is with Buck. And that is what Buck needs. Just Eddie as himself. And that's like also more Bobby stuff coming back in to the fold of just like sometimes you just have to step in it with someone and be there for them. And that's what this was.
Yeah, and what's also interesting is that I think at some point, especially in season 6, I believe, Bobby has given that same or has told that same story to Eddie as well. So they both know it.
Yeah.
There's also just the Eddie in a white shirt parallel being at Buck's bedside. So between 9:15 and 3:01. Then the 3:01 when he's at the loft and taking the covers and waking Buck up.
Oh, yeah. And then I know we've kind of talked about it. We've mentioned it many times, but Eddie noticing something off with Buck and being the first one to notice that in 14. If we go all the way back to season 3 before 309, I think it's the Halloween episode 306. Eddie is in mid Fight Club era and he's like super tired and he's got all of these like kind of bruises is, and Buck just kind of like gives him a little bit of like something's off here. So it's kind of, you know, that parallel reverse of each of them being the first to realize or recognize when something is off, and they, you know, they do that for each other.
Do you think there's going to be, this is an actual question because I don't know. I literally just thought of it. Do you think there's going to be any kind of like mild fallout where like Eddie's like, why didn't he feel like he could tell me, and when he told Chimney, or?
Hard to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Eddie is taking any of this personally because Buck was in such a bad spot, and maybe upon reflection he could recognize that the ambulance thing was that reach out, that just like circumstances of Eddie's phone ringing and then the tones going off just kind of like nipped in the bud before it could actually, you know, come out. So I don't think he would be taking it personally.
I feel like it would be making it about, I feel like making this particular situation about himself, and because it kind of does feel like he's making it about himself and he does go that route. I don't think he's going to do that.
No, I was just thinking along his like guilt of like not being there for Bobby, if like that was going to trigger anything, like why didn't he tell me, because then I could have like helped him sooner or something like that.
We did see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
That I could understand, but I think it would manifest more with him being like, again, more attentive and just trying to like say like, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Or in his, if not in words, then in actions, because Buck is in still kind of, I'm assuming would still kind of be in a wobbly, like vulnerable spot because of the disciplinary hearing and stuff. So like his future's kind of up in smoke, up in the air. I was looking at the Where's the Smoke title. It's not up in smoke yet. So I don't know. I feel like Eddie would just be more like lean on me as opposed to like, I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
End of sentence.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Do we have anything else? I feel like there's plenty of shit that we're missing.
Welcome back, Couch Theory.
Oh yeah, welcome back, Couch Theory. This is our first Buck and Eddie serious couch conversation.
9/12.
Alone.
Oh, that had Christopher. Yes.
Alone.
Actual coffee table
blocking. Nobody else in the room.
Actual coffee table blocking. Serious conversation. I think this is our first one.
Yeah. We've made it, y'all.
Couch Theory never dies.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's just so interesting. Take a shot.
I hope you're hydrated.
Yeah, I don't know. Love the couch stuff. Love seeing them on a couch together for reasons.
And that's kind of the first time. So like if you include like Buck and Eddie on the couch, they were alone in confessions. Well, they weren't talking. Buck and Eddie were on the couch. Christopher was there, so they weren't alone. They were talking about Buck's parents. This is the first time they're talking about each other.
Yeah.
To each other.
That took a long time.
This is some of that significant, like they're actually talking to each other conversation that we've been waiting for. And it was so impactful because it was the whole lead into the montage. It was the whole like reframing of Buck's understanding of, you know, it's okay to lean on everybody. And who told him that? It's Eddie. And it's just,
you just thought of this? Is this the conclusion of the 8/17 fight? Like, did they actually talk about it now? Do we consider this
kind of?
I'm wondering.
Because it was like, let me be there for you. Open up to me. You know what I mean? You're not letting us grieve together. You're not like talking about it. Like,
and it's kind of like with the starting with Buck reaching out and when they were in the ambulance, I think that was like a sign that we're repairing that little, I guess, silent rift that they had, that we all like were looking at it with magnifying glasses like, hello. It does feel like a big growth moment for for their relationship after that particular kitchen scene.
Yeah.
And hopefully, and maybe there's more to come, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're just like, you know, on the upward trend here for that, because this was such a big turning point for them. Well, and 9/13, but this is really like I think that was kind of like the climax rising action.
Catalyst?
Yes.
You're saying 9/13 was the catalyst for
for them to experience like this NDE. If not, they weren't like together, but like they experienced this traumatic event together, kind of. And I kind of, the vibe I was getting when we were watching this the first time on Thursday was that this whole episode is kind of the culmination of like the end of season 8, like beginning of season 9 arc, because we've got like the year anniversary of Bobby. They made it. They're all together. This is like, they're no longer fractured. Now we're still going to see some sort of fallout with, I'm sure, with Buck and the disciplinary hearing. But I really think that the last 3 episodes are going to kind of move us forward into like a where we could go in season 10 sort of thing, because this is such a perfect like bookend to everything from like 8:15. It took this long to get here, but like to have the thesis statements of this episode and 9:14 be all about reaching out, and the one person who didn't reach out in season 8 and isolated himself finally learning that lesson, and especially with like that conversation with Buck and Athena like talking together in 9:15 is so very like, again, that bookend, because we had Athena.
So you're saying
at the beginning.
yes to my question.
The short answer is yes. The long answer was this. But like, yes.
Yes, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was giving you all of the evidence.
Yeah.
I was enhanced.
Sorry, I was just trying to keep it Buck and Eddie because we're in the Buck and Eddie section. But yes, right?
Yeah.
So we can call that like case closed on the 8:17 fight.
We could.
I think so. I don't know how you bring it up at this point, because I feel like all of the tension that would have been there from that, of like any residual stuff from it, they've kind of worked through it in this.
It does show their growth from that point on. So yes,
like they're rebuilt in the trust and leaning on each other again, but also in a way that they haven't.
Yeah, and also this is Molly and James, so like those threads are definitely
makes sense, right?
Yes.
We see you,
Molly and James. We see
Clever.
We see all
clever girl and boy. Yeah. Okay. I love that, actually. Are we ready for the forecast?
Sunny.
The
Hopefully.
Buddy forecast. Buck feelings realization. I puts lower odds on this because of everything Buck's going through. Love and dating are the last thing on his mind right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's like, am I still gonna have a job?
Yeah, he's got bigger things that he needs to center himself again.
Yes. Yeah.
Find himself a little bit.
He's gotta get back to the new Buck. He likes the new Buck. He's gotta get back to him.
The new Buck that he liked.
Yeah.
He's still got a little bit more personal journey.
Yeah. But gay Eddie. I put my money on this happening over the feelings realization with everything we've been building towards all season. It just seems like the natural conclusion. It seems like, and we've been saying this all season, that we feel like it's leading to this, and then it's leading to this in the finale, and I still feel that way.
So do I. Yeah. Listen, I think Tim. It is Tim. It's always Tim now, because I don't know who.
It's always Tim at the scene of the crime.
Well, he was like more joyous, fun moments for Eddie, and I'm over here like, make him gay. Yeah.
I feel the gay Eddie in the air, you know, and it's like,
in this Chili's tonight.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that in a million years. How bad did that just date us? Oh my God.
I don't care. I got you to laugh, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I just feel, I know that we've been saying it all season, but I really feel like everything that's happened just makes me feel even more certain that it's happening this season. And it's going to be one of those things where, like, I don't know.
It's just going to drop.
It's just going to, like, it just makes sense. Like, because I know that I mentioned, not in an episode, but I mentioned, I think just talking to you guys, I was like, we got to have one more episode where we have an Eddie focus, right? Like, not necessarily A plot, but like B or C plot. Because we didn't really, like, all of the Eddie focus we've gotten since 13 has been about Buck, like not about Eddie specifically. So it's like, what's the natural conclusion of Eddie's arc this season?
Right. Okay, I remember. This is great. Thank you. No, because like yesterday I was like talking about, you know, Eddie's thesis, I feel like starts in 905, where Abuela's like, you are looking in the wrong place. And I was like, no, this is his thesis, because he's looking for something.
Yes.
And it's definitely love, and it's definitely like, you know, it's Buck. and it's the gay Eddie of it all. But yeah, no, I think ultimately that is his thesis. This is the end game for Eddie. This is his point B for the season,
to find the thing that he's been looking for, that he's been on the lookout for through his search to find joy. To find joy, and it is right in front of him. Not to beat a dead horse.
That was the first Eddie plot we got all season, written by Chris Monfett, who we brought back on board for story I always get it wrong. Story supervisor?
Consulting
producer. So Eddie Whisperer, right?
Yeah.
And so the first thing we did was have him confront like his ties to religion. Does he feel a connection to religion? Is it because of Bobby? Is it because of his upbringing? Oh, it's actually like spirituality and a connection to it on his own, separate from organized religion, because
and his culture.
Yes, and his culture, because it helps him feel more connected to his abuela, who he now lost, and feeling connected through Dia de Muertos, through his actual culture. And we have her, with the hand over the heart, like you've been looking in the wrong place, in the same episode where it's Buck looking in the wrong places for Bobby, and he's wearing a heart over his heart. And then from there we have 907, which is a crazy episode, which is supposed to be about Eddie but ends up being about Buck. Typical, but it's about how Eddie hasn't looked at a woman in a year and he has no interest in dating women, and he goes to a club and he's like, not really interested. But then a man looks at him and he blushes like a little fucking schoolgirl. And we have at your 9 o'clock or whatever, and Buck is at his 9 o'clock.
Is 9 o'clock. There's just so much
because we have that, and then we have all of the stuff from all of the things, because there's been sprinkles this whole season. There's been sprinkles this whole fucking season. But like, if we skip over everything else and then we just take into account 913, 914, 915 with 905 and 907, hey, what are we doing if not gay Eddie?
Yeah.
It's literally like Taylor Swift Mastermind, but like the writer's room sat down and we were like, we have a plan for gay Eddie this season. And that's what they've been doing the whole time.
It feels like it's leading towards or leading Eddie down a very specific path.
Yes.
And it's felt that way the entire season. So it's just kind of like, and thinking like, where else could they take his character arc for it to like conclude for this season? It's like, can't really come up with much that makes as much sense. So
it's definitely not dating a woman, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think that train has left the station.
No. Along with his heterosexuality, alleged. Like, I can't think of where else we're going, guys. This just seems like the actual, I don't know what the fuck else.
It's the setup. The setup is there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. There are two things that I feel like I know are going to happen for the rest of the season. And it's that Buck is going to go through some shit and that Eddie is gay and I know nothing else. Like, those are the only two things that I'm narratively looking at right now and going, these are the natural conclusions to what's happening. Buck's going to go through some shit because he's trying to get his job back.
Yeah.
Eddie is gay because of everything that they've done this entire season. Like, I'm not even including all the previous seasons. I'm just including this one.
And I don't want to put ourselves, especially with what I'm about to say next, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm like gay Eddiemaxxing to the extreme.
Yeah.
But like, there's something about the way that they set up some of these storylines since as of 905 with the you're looking in the wrong place, and then 907 with the there's just something so interesting about Eddie being the one to say, oh, it's inspiring, the two weirdos finding each other, that's very inspiring. And then Buck being like, you haven't looked at a woman in a year, and then Eddie being like, well, you haven't either. And like, there's something subconsciously there. This is what I was explaining to you guys in through text.
Yeah.
So there's something subconsciously there, and I think it's just very intriguing.
With Eddie, it's something subconscious.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to discuss the like, does Eddie know thing that I think fandom's very split on. Yeah. And I think we're in some weird purgatory middle ground with it, where we're like, we think he knows something.
But it might just be at a subconscious level. It's not like he's
Yes.
aware of it, but it could be
No.
subconsciously. And that's why
Yes.
when so like 907 in particular, right? There's this whole thing through past seasons that when Buck or Eddie or vice versa is dating someone, the other one has to date someone.
Yeah.
So like with Eddie, 907 is particularly interesting because Buck is already seeing two people, and then we're at that gym scene where Buck is explaining, well, they find out that there's something really weird with this couple. We know that, you know, like they think that they're siblings and stuff. And so Eddie's like, well, Buck, you know what you have to do. So, and it's kind of like a little bit like subconsciously like a relief for him. It's not like a jealousy thing. It's just like, for him, I think it's like
oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah, something like that. Like
Buck's time with me isn't going to be taken away, and I don't have to perform by dating someone,
exactly.
that's like the natural progression of things.
Yes, that.
Like it's very much, and I said this in the Discord earlier tonight because people were doing like, Eddie's one of these three things, and it's like completely aware, a little aware, or like a third thing. And I was like, he's literally right now like in his happiest era because he's doing what he said in 705, which is like, you and Tommy had the right idea. Stay single, hang out with the boys. That's exactly what he's doing, and he's living his best life.
Yeah.
But it's just like, my dude, you're like one hop, skip, and a jump away from realizing why you're happiest doing that. And I feel like he knows on some level with the ways that he's looking at Buck and the like breathy, soft ways that he's talking to him, especially in these last couple episodes, the way that it's even more married behavior than usual, like the care with the hurt comfort in this episode and 913, honestly, like it just feels like he knows something. Oh, and how personally he took that shit in the diner. Right? Bringing it back. It just feels like he knows something, but it's not quite fully to the surface, you know?
Yeah. What it is there's no like conscious thought of I'm in love with Buck or oh my God, I'm gay. It's still this like amorphous, like kind of feeling that doesn't have like
nameless thing.
Yeah, that can't be articulated and you can't quite put your finger on it. Like it's kind of evading his understanding at the moment. But the important part is that he's not repressing it. He's not pushing it down.
No.
He is allowing himself to feel it because it brings him joy in some way. And that is what's been so pivotal for his character this season.
Yeah.
Starting from season 8 with that talk with Father Brian and confessions about like, you need to let yourself experience joy, find something that makes you happy. He's not yet at the questioning stage of like, what does this mean? He just knows it makes him happy. It gives him joy. So he's not pushing it down. And that is huge improvement for Eddie.
Right. So like, and I think I said this that other night. I was like, he's content with, so I know you tied it back. Like you
Flynn.
tied it back to Flynn, and like, he's content with, and content, I don't mean settling. I mean content and happy in this spot where he is, where he's also no, because for Buck, I think that's more status quo-y than Eddie. So he's content in this position where he is because he still has Buck by his side. That's what he really likes, Buck being by his side. Call back. Basically that. So because he's and content, like I said, not settling. I think it's content in joy and happiness, but like he still needs to take a different step, or a step farther to actually access that joy, which again can drop at any minute. But it's also like, so Eddie being in this place where he's like hanging out with his boy being Buck, like he's content with that. He's obviously not aware of the gay or the feelings realization or any of the gay feelings realization. And I know I already talked about the having to put up a performance when the other one is dating someone. We talked about that.
Yes.
But I think there's something so soft now that they're and their current state right now is single and being around each other, falling in love with each other, whether they've already fallen but are unaware of it. Like it's just going to fall into their laps, I think. And it's just, like I said, it's going to take like just one random moment of like waking up one day and being like, oh, and I think that's more like on Eddie's side. the reason why Eddie is so content right now and so happy right now is because like he is in this state of being where it's like where Buck and him are in this state of togetherness right now, and it gets me even more amplified, especially with all the things that have happened so far. Now he's in this role where he's more than partner, but not actual, partner in the sense of the word of romantic.
That nebulous third thing. It's like their stories, which look parallel a lot of the time, but are actually like on a slight angle. So eventually they're going to intersect. It's like getting closer to that intersection point.
Yes. But I think Eddie's going to get there
That was a math
first. Wow. I love math on the Buddy System. No, I don't.
I remember, and if you've been here a while or you've listened back on our episodes from our live coverage from season 8, we were very sure about Gay Eddie last season too, because they had started ramping that up in like in episodes 4 with like the cheerleader stuff and confessions, right? And then I think with like 809, even 810, and then it got dropped, right?
Well, we got the 811 scoff.
Yeah,
okay.
sure. Okay. But I meant like specifically for Eddie's arc where he's present for it.
Got it.
Then it kind of got dropped because, well, they had to kill Bobby. So I really feel like this season it hasn't dropped. It's ramped up. It's ramped up. So that's why I'm just like, I'm so sure of it. Like, I'm like, all of the signs are here. We only built on the stuff that we did last season. It's not like anything was disregarded from that. We just like that stuff still counts. But it's like, if you only look at it as a general audience member this season, it's like, why Eddie moving differently? Why isn't he dating women?
Yeah. And like, I wouldn't be opposed if it drops later, like in season 10. It just like the way we're looking at it from Eddie's narrative arc throughout season 9, that would be the natural or one of the natural conclusions within the season sort of thing. So it's like, it's not that we're saying it's got to happen by like, we're expecting it. It's got to happen, but it would just like, it makes the most
sense. But yeah, this is just like, I feel like it's happening this season.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen this season,
all of that to say
I'm not going to riot about it. But what?
I said all of that to say we think it's happening this season.
We think it's happening this season, specifically in the finale. We've been saying that since the beginning of this season.
If it doesn't, I don't think we'll be mad.
No, we've been saying it since the beginning because we understand the way that network TV is structured, and like this kind of big thing would be a season finale thing. So that's kind of like why we've been saying the season finale since the beginning of the season. But I don't think that we're going to be like angry about it, but I will be interested to see what they do next season, because if they don't do it this season, they're going to have to make it even louder. Like it's going to have to be like, we're just like bitch slapping the general audience in the face. You know what I mean? Because every season that they don't do it, they need to build it up even more.
Yes,
like Annie up.
Yes. So,
and if it doesn't happen, it has to be like a big major hint that they have to continue on into the premiere of the next season.
That's what I would expect.
Yeah. Because they already had to like relay down groundwork that they started last season and this season. So,
which they've done very well.
They have. They've done a beautiful job.
But I don't think we can do it again.
Not subtly like this. No. They're going to have to be really loud about it is what I'm saying. So I feel like you either do a natural, hey, he's gay, or he has a feelings realization. I think it's leaning towards feelings realization because of like how this kind of storyline would work for a late in life person who's already been with women. Like it's less confusing, I think, for the general audience if it's like not I'm gay and it's I have feelings for Buck, because they've been showing that. Right. That's what they've been showing. Not like, hey, he doesn't like, I mean, they have been saying like, hey, he doesn't want to date women, but they haven't been showing like, hey, he finds men hot, other than this one, like, damn. So,
which is so funny.
So, but I think him being like, oh my God, do I have feelings for Buck? That would be natural. That would be natural. More than a like, do I want to fuck men? You know what I mean? Like, I think a feelings realization for Buck's going to be more natural than a gay realization. Yeah, all that to say, it's, we got the gay Eddie zoomies, man. We're just like, is it happening? We feel like it's happening. Is it happening? We feel like it's happening.
We're leaning towards it's happening. And if it doesn't happen, we're not going to be mad about it. Only because...
No. It's good storytelling, too.
What they've done so far is really good.
Yeah.
Sprinkling it in there.
Sprinkling. Yep. All right. It's the longest what if buddy forecast section we've ever had.
Welcome back.
It's basically It's basically just Queer Eddiemaxxing Part 2.
Part 2, but this time, like,
Electric Boogaloo.
But when he be gay, though. He gay, but when he be gay.
But when?
But when?
All right, so we're going to take this moment to shout out to our best buddies on Patreon.
Thank you so much, Aaron, Alexandria, Amanda, Amber, Amy, Anna, Anthony, Antisocial Cheese Charmer. We don't have a name for this.
We don't have a name for you yet. Please let us know, unless you just think it's so funny for us to say that.
Antisocial Cheese Charmer. You know what? Fuck yeah. Okay. Asha, Aubrey, Cephia, Christian, Dana,
Elizabeth, Ella, Emmy, Eveline, Gabby, Gracie Jane, Inika, Joey, Juan, Jules, Kate, Kel, Kenny, Kitty,
Quincy, Maya, Millie, Mishi, Nat, Patricia, Persephone, Pigeon, Poppy, Rebel, Sarah, Sheila, Sunchi, the Dastas, TJ, Tristy, Vera, Wade, and Zachary.
We're about to start a mini segment talking about whether Buck can actually bake.
It's exclusive to the Best Buddies tier of Patreon.
So if you'd like to hear special mini segments from each episode
and get a personalized shout out, subscribe to our Patreon.
Okay, so we're just going to talk about a couple season parallels first. The first, I think, is Bobby's relapse in season 1, episode 4.
So I think a lot of this episode with Buck in withdrawal rang kind of true to when Buck and Hen found Bobby, who had relapsed in 104. And just like I think it's a beautiful narrative parallel, but or narrative mirror, because Bobby relapsed because he didn't have anyone to lean on. He didn't allow himself to lean on anyone for such a long time. And Buck and Hen were really and Chimney too, but he was, out with the rebar injury at the moment. But Buck and Hen were able to kind of elbow their way into Bobby's inner world. But basically the whole thing is that he didn't ask for help. Buck was able to do so. And he had the entire rest of the 118 and Maddie, his family, that he allowed himself finally to lean on. So I think it's a beautiful, breaking of generational curses, trauma, especially if you look at Bobby and Buck as father, son sort of thing. And I think that this pops up a lot in season 9, or it has popped up a lot in season 9. And I thought that was a really lovely, I used bookend earlier, but this is a nice bookend to that as well. There was a tweet from Anna at Your Sake, YRSACD. I don't know how to pronounce that. And they said, I firmly believe the alarms going off the moment Buck wanted to steal the meds from the ambulance was actually a sign from Bobby to protect his kid. And I just really love that idea because it follows through on this kind of little thread since the end of season 8 when Buck was talking to, Father Brian. He's like, I just want a sign. And then the earthquake happens. Mm-hmm. And then Buck was continually looking for a sign in 905. And he got one in was 912. Kind of what? Then
he got one in 912.
Yeah. Well, I still think the finding the AA coin in his attic to help Dwayne was a sign, and then 912 applying Eddie for the firefighter games as well. So I really love the idea that, Bobby is kind of looking out for him in very subtle ways. I just think that's really sweet, and it makes me happy, sad.
Right, well, we know about what's coming next.
Okay, well, episode 16 is titled Where There's Smoke. It's going to air on April 2nd, 2026. We don't know who is written by yet, so and then the synopsis is that came out Friday. The 118 must account for every decision made during a recent fire call when the team's actions are investigated for possible mistakes. Meanwhile, Buck works behind the scenes to support his team as he waits to learn if he can return to the station, which I love. A go girl, give us nothing. It's kind of it actually gave us a little bit of something.
It gave us way more than it's usually giving us. It's normally Athena's doing this case. Meanwhile, this other character's doing something else.
Yeah. So this kind of gives us an actual framework for the episode, which is pretty cool.
This episode is also where we got behind the scenes of Corinne and Oliver, because they were at Dispatch and they did the Mean Girls TikTok. I don't know.
That was
it was funny, but I mean, the synopsis kind of gave me, okay, if he, and like, okay, if he's going to work behind the scenes, what's the most behind the scenes job that you can do? Or at least, not necessarily, I'm not saying that he's going to work at Dispatch necessarily, but I'm just like, what if he's hanging out at Dispatch for a little bit? And again, it's like paralleling, like I said earlier, like the season 5 Eddie framework that where he was at Dispatch. So
like the liaison.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if maybe he can do some of that. And I think some other things that I thought that they could bring up, because we all know that the 118 are going to be at a court hearing, because per the promo, they told a woman that she could go back to her building and the building burned down or something like that. I'm thinking that, Buck, doctor shopping and trying to get more drugs can be brought back up, and it could be used against the 118. It could definitely be used against Chimney in a way, even though, like, yes, he did call the fire chief to report it. They're all aware of it, but it's kind of like he was under your watch kind of thing. Like, how did you not notice? Like, I feel like there's a way to position it against the 118. I know behind the scenes we did have like some like angry mob action, which I'm assuming is from the building that got burned down. And I'm assuming it's a possible arsonist storyline, which I've been asking for. So
yeah,
interesting things happening.
I think we're all surprised, like we haven't really gotten a
true arsonist,
legitimate like arsonist storyline. Sounds cool. You want me just to do the next one?
There's
nothing there. It's like, and then we have hiatus.
Okay, then we allegedly have a 4-week hiatus, and then we come back on April 30th with 9/17. We don't know literally anything about that episode, and then the finale would then be on May 7th with season 9, episode 18. We literally don't know anything about that one either. So, good times.
Sounds great. We're in.
And it makes sense that they're airing that late, because otherwise we would know the titles.
That is true.
Yeah. Lots to look forward to.
Okay, so special wish list guest appearance from Checks Notes on Hands. Kenneth Choi, Ryan Guzman, and Oliver Stark. Because
who are they?
While I know, just some guys,
randos,
just some normal fucking randos. While we were in Chicago, came up to us and they were like, "Hey, you should put this on your podcast because Tim listens to it, and we want it to happen." And we were like, "Okay, weirdos." So here's their request.
They didn't even come out to us. They just were like, "Hey, you,
put it in your podcast.
Do this.
Put it in your podcast because Tim listens to it."
He's gonna be like, "It's a great idea."
As if they don't work for this man.
They have their direct line.
We have to put it in our podcast.
Yeah. Okay,
sure. But since you asked,
I guess we take requests.
This is the place where we do things like that. It's only in the current season coverage, and it's in this section at the very, very end called our wish list, spelled like the Taylor Swift song because of who we are as people. So yeah, they really want a crossover with the Rookie. I don't think it's happening, guys, but I love that for you.
I love that you guys wanted to manifest this.
I love that you want it so badly, but I don't think it's happening.
They just want to hang out with Nathan.
They just want to hang out,
which is
them.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
get
Tim's
it.
friendly with Nathan.
Yeah,
obviously because of Firefly. So like, it is in the realm of possibility. Like
I just
could happen. I just don't know when it's gonna happen.
I feel like there was talk about this a while ago, and I don't.
I remember
and it never really came.
What I do remember is either an interview or some kind of podcast or something, and it felt like around May 2025 era. I remember they were like, "Yeah, we want to do it." But it wouldn't work because of X, Y, and Z reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking of.
Something about like the universes.
The universes are
like
a little
not
contradicting.
Yeah, like not complementary in that way. Technically, the Rookie has already done an episode where they had like flag football game with like their in-universe like LAFD. I think that's kind of what they were looking for, but
yeah, I'm not sure. Love that for you three. Hope that you get it. I don't think you will. And I don't think that us putting on our podcast is going to help. But yeah, I just don't think that it's going to happen. But
I would like to see a high potential.
Yes.
It's very high potential.
We tried to say that. And then Oliver made a terrible joke.
I appreciated the joke, but it was Rachel kind of bad joke.
That was Rachel
Coda's
joke.
Terrible, actually. Interesting. Okay, so anyway, that's our special guest request. I think that was the only thing they asked
what
for.
What a cameo appearance from that.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. We will send you a bill.
Yes. It's going to have a couple of figures in there.
This is why we call it the wish list with the dollar.
You too could get something in the wish list for a price.
Remember, this is Tim's favorite podcast.
According to Oliver Stark.
All right. So, actual wish list items for us.
Go.
Wine nights. When? Buddy opening emergency. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully season 10.
Hopefully season 10.
When? In the opening.
Yes. Hopefully in the opening of the next season, which will be season 10. Let's see. What else?
I'm going to say LAFD dance party at the retirement home. And by dance party, I mean teaching to dance at you, Eddie.
For free, I'll include the wishes. The other wishes. No, because they were talking about storylines that they would want again, right? So I think Ryan said he wanted to explore more of the military past. Chimney said he wants an episode on why he's called Chimney.
Kenny said, you did the thing.
What?
You called him Chimney and not Kenny.
Chimney? Oh my God. Kenny wants an episode on why Chimney is called Chimney. I think we all want that. Yeah. We also think that's
but like
happening.
At the very end, I want the mystery.
Yeah.
That could be a funny bottle episode where they're trying to get him to tell the story and he refuses.
Yeah.
I would like to see Eddie's character do a dance, and I would like to see him do a dance every season. Please and thank you.
Me too.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
And I don't mean like a little dance in the backyard, like showing hen. I mean like an actual dance. I want a production. I want it every season. I don't care. Give it to me.
We need the ballroom opening at emerge. I mean, no, not ballroom.
He can even wear pants.
Ballroom. Yes.
He can wear pants.
Yeah, pants are fine. No, so like you were saying.
Okay. Yes, like I was saying.
No, like you were saying, I think we need an emergency at some sort of like ballroom competition.
Yes,
and he has to like step in.
Step up.
Everybody gets to watch. I think that would be really
step up.
Oh yeah, that's a missed opportunity.
It really was. I can't believe you missed that.
But yes, he gets to step up and help the person who probably needs to compete. Let it be a guy.
And then everybody else gets to see it too, and that's really fun.
Yes.
And Buck can do his like, oh my God, Eddie's doing something amazing face.
Yeah.
That's my husband.
Yes.
I would love to see Buck with the Stitch Bitches again. Like just drop that. That's something he still does regularly, but just like do it like, wow. Do it like half a season later, like sometime in the beginning of season 10, just like drop that on us. Like he's there every week.
Yes.
Yeah, he could like come home with like something like a finished project. And he's like, here, made you this. I'm assuming to like Eddie at this point. here's some socks that I made you.
Here's some socks. Here's a scarf.
Oh, something we did kind of talk about at the panel was an actual bottle episode, not just like a scene in the truck.
Yes.
I think Kenny's idea was like a bottle episode in the truck. I think that would be great, or just in the station. And you could call it the Q word.
You
can come up with something better than that. But
yeah, in case you forgot, Tim, you have not done a bottle episode in this show.
Not a true bottle episode.
No, you have like not even close to a bottle episode.
That was a bottle scene.
Yeah. That doesn't
Which
even
is just
remotely
a scene.
count. That's just a scene. A lot of scenes take place in one place. Like when you get to another place, it's normally a different scene.
The whole thing was still funny though, because I looked at Han like, damn girl. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
In case you haven't listened to the panel from Chicago Rescueverse, someone asked a question about like, well, do you guys ever want to do a bottle episode? And Kenny was talking about like how like, yeah, I really wanted to do one. I like talked to Tim about it, and I think we did one like in the
Jinx
in the engine. Yeah. And he was talking about Jinx, and then I was like, isn't that a scene or something? He was like, yeah, Tim said we already did one, and then I screamed. Well, I said loudly, he's a liar, because that is
you
a lie.
You can very clearly hear on the recording. So that's Han. He's a liar.
And I'm sorry, you are. There is no bottle episode. We would like a bottle episode, please and thank you.
It's okay, Tim. I believe that you thought it was.
I mean,
we believe that you believe, but you believed incorrectly.
I also believe that you're wrong. So
anyway, and that was letters to Dad.
Isn't the whole podcast letters to Dad?
At this point, yes, but it's called the Buddy System, not Dear Tim.
It's true. Do we have any other wish list
negative
items? Okay.
I don't know anything.
Gay Eddie.
I'm just going to say it here too. Just,
and please
Eddie.
help Buck wake up a little bit. Thank you. My
God, I'm tired. I mean, like, I know he just went through
the horror
an event, but like
just a little sprinkle of a wake up call.
He can have some sprinkles too.
Wake him up.
Rainbow sprinkles.
Unless he's going to be woken up by true love's kiss. Can't believe I said it that way.
True love's kiss. You sound like Mushu from Mulan.
I was like, this sounds like Eddie Murphy. Just on you.
on your And this has been Scylla's comedy show.
But
remember, don't go through withdrawals.
But if you do,
take a buddy with you. Thank you for listening to the Buddy System podcast.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to our Discord community, full reaction videos, and even more exclusive content.
And if you really want to make our day, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Please come yap with us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddie System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Catch you next time. And don't forget,
bring a buddy with you.